Late at night, under the pale silver glow of the moon, Chen Yang lay motionless on a worn-out bed, his eyes dull and heavy. "Another day gone," he whispered. The moonlight spilled through the cracked window, casting long shadows on the stained walls. As it bathed his thin frame, Chen Yang's thoughts drifted. It had been nearly a year since he transmigrated to this world. Blue Star. On the surface, it mirrored Earth, the same sky, the same oceans, the same continents. But beneath that facade lay a world shaped by martial might. Blue Star was a realm where vitality surged in the air, and those called warriors could absorb it to hone their bodies, shatter limits, deflect bullets, and surpass ordinary humans by leagues. Chen Yang once dreamed of becoming one of them, but reality struck cruelly. Instead of awakening martial potential, his body was ravaged by a terrifying illness, the disease of decay and death. A plague born of beasts, incurable without astronomical costs. And in the slums, such a price might as well be the moon. The disease wasn't natural. It had come decades ago, when the sky tore open and spatial rifts birthed a new age of chaos. Ferocious beasts poured from the void, tearing civilization apart. Human weapons, missiles, tanks, even nuclear bombs proved worthless. Just when despair threatened to consume the world, a new power emerged. Warriors, individuals capable of wielding vitality. They were humanity's salvation. But they weren't immune to tragedy. A year ago, the city of Yinqing was attacked by a beast tide. Among them was a terrifying creature known as Disaster, whose body released a deadly virus. The warriors fought valiantly and repelled the tide, but not before the slums, closest to the city wall, were engulfed in the virus. Infected zones became graveyards. Those with strong vitality resisted the virus. Others, like Chen Yang, began to wither slowly. His breath was shallow now. Even walking had become difficult. The doctors gave him a month at best. His family had nothing. A paralyzed sister. 2 parents who barely scraped together enough to feed them. There was no money for medicine, let alone the hundreds of thousands needed for treatment. There was only despair. He once clung to hope. If I can awaken as a warrior, I can suppress the virus. But that too was shattered. His test results labeled him with the lowest possible cultivation talent. Essentially no chance at all. So why had he been reborn? He remembered his final moments on Earth, rushing into a fire to save a child, his firefighter instincts kicking in despite the odds. That had been his honor, his choice. And now he was here, helpless. If fate only brought me here to die slower, then what's the point? His lips trembled. If only I had a bottle of gene potion, he muttered. Those potions could transform ordinary people into warriors. But they were rarer than gold. No one in the slums had ever even seen one. Cough, cough. His body convulsed violently. He gritted his teeth and pushed himself up. Day after day, despite his condition, he had practiced tirelessly. Yet the vitality of heaven and earth had never responded. Half an hour later, sweat dripping from his chin, Chen Yang collapsed back onto the bed. Maybe this really was his fate. Tears welled in his eyes as he surrendered to exhaustion. Let end. At least it'll lessen the burden on my family. But just as his eyes closed in resignation, a stabbing pain flared in his brain. He gasped. A blinding light burst before him, followed by a translucent screen that flickered to life in his vision. Human, Chen Yang. Cultivation talent, none. Special talent, copy talent. Ability, can copy talents by physical contact. Similar talents can be fused. Evolved forms possible. Unawakened talents cannot be copied. What? His eyes widened in disbelief. His voice trembled. Was this the system? He blinked rapidly, rubbed his eyes. Was this another cruel hallucination? But the screen remained. His breath quickened. A year. A whole year in hell. And now, finally, his golden finger had awakened. He clenched his fists, his heart thundering. Copy talent. An ability that could steal fate itself from the hands of others. I can survive. He bit his lip to hold back a sob. I need to copy someone's talent. I need to become a warrior. I have to, before it's too late. But where would he find someone tonight? He sighed. Tomorrow. I'll find someone tomorrow. Just then. Knock, knock, knock. Who is it? Chen Yang called out, tried to steady his voice. Brother, it's me. It was his sister, Chen Yang. Come in, he replied, hastily calming his excitement. The door creaked open, and a worn-out metal wheelchair rolled in slowly. His sister, barely 15, used her arms to guide it in. Brother, are you okay? She asked, concern etched in every word. I heard you just now. Chen Yang knew about his illness. Every day, she saw his condition worsen, and it tore her apart. Chen Yang forced a gentle smile. I'm all right, just feeling a little better today. Really? Yuling beamed, flicking the switch to light the room. She wheeled closer and stared at his face. His complexion was pale, as always, but there was something new in his eyes. Hope. Chen Yang's heart softened. He reached out and gently ruffled her hair. Then a thought hit him. What about her talent? Check, he muttered. The virtual screen appeared once again. Human. Chen Yang. Cultivation talent. Advanced. Special talent. Telepathy. Unawakened. Chen Yang's breath caught. Advanced talent. He stared at the screen in disbelief. His sister had the potential to become a powerful warrior? Brother? Yuling tilted her head, confused by his reaction. I'm okay, Yuling, he whispered, tears welling up in his eyes. You really are my lucky star. He pulled her into a tight hug, and in his heart, a single word rang out like thunder. Copy. A refreshing surge, like cool spring water, poured into Chen Yang's body the moment he made contact. His whole body trembled. Talent copy successful. He slowly let go of his sister, disbelief and elation flashing in his eyes. It was real. He truly had a golden finger. Yuling, it's late. Go get some rest, he said gently. Okay, brother. You too, she replied with a smile. For the first time in months, she saw a light return to her brother's face. Once she wheeled herself out and the room fell quiet, Chen Yang immediately pulled up the system screen. Name, Chen Yang. Cultivation talent, advanced. Special talent, copy, allows copying of talents through touch. Similar talents can be fused, may evolve into a higher tier talent. Unawakened talents cannot be copied. Success, he whispered again, fists clenching with excitement. Heart racing, he sat cross-legged and began channeling his breath, using the vitality circulation technique once taught in school. Though he had failed it countless times in the past, tonight felt different. Within minutes, warmth began to build in his chest. A faint current of vitality flowed like a thread of fire, winding through his meridians. They stretched open, slowly but surely, as the warm stream made its way through him. A small circulation cycle was completed. Chen Yang exhaled sharply. He had finally cultivated his first ray of vitality. I really did it. His eyes shimmered. Still, this was just the beginning. While his meridians had been opened, he had no proper cultivation technique to deepen his practice. Without it, he wouldn't progress far. Exercises were either taught in school or sold at high prices. He had dropped out a year ago, and his family couldn't afford even a fraction of what they cost. Maybe I can borrow one from an old classmate. Yawn. His body, overwhelmed with emotion and energy expenditure, finally gave in. Let's figure it out tomorrow, he murmured, before sinking into the most peaceful sleep he'd had in a year. The next morning, knock, knock, knock. Younger, breakfast is ready. Still groggy, Chen Yang rubbed his eyes and rose to his feet. Strangely, his body felt light, stronger, even. He opened the door to see his father standing there, face lined with worry. Can you walk? I feel much better today, Dad, Chen Yang replied with a faint smile. His father's brows twitched, but he only gave a small nod. Come eat. Chen Yang could hear the strain in his father's voice. No matter how he acted, they'd all assumed he was nearing death. At the table, his little sister blinked at him while chewing on stale bread. There was something hopeful in her eyes. His mother, always observant, leaned forward. Chenwei, doesn't our son look healthier today? His father turned to examine him again. To his shock, there was a flush of color on Chen Yang's cheeks. Life, where there had only been pallor. Dad, Mom, I think I can practice now. Those words had lived in his heart for a year. Now, he could finally say them aloud. Their eyes widened. Is it true, Yang? Chen Yang stood up and jumped twice. See for yourselves. Both parents gasped. Their son, who could barely lift his legs yesterday, now stood tall and moved with ease. God bless. Son, tonight your old man's making a feast. Father Chen grinned, ear to ear. No way. Mother Chen protested with a wide smile. I haven't cooked properly in weeks. I'll make your favorite braised pork. Brother, you can really practice now? Yuling's voice trembled with joy. Chen Yang knelt and touched her cheek. Yes, and one day I'll stand as a true warrior, and I'll find a way to heal your legs. After breakfast, his parents went off to work. Chen Yang laced up his worn shoes. Yuling, wait here. I'll be back soon. Where are you going, brother? She asked. I need to find a body training method. When I become strong, we'll leave this slum behind. Okay, come back safe, brother. There were 3 ways to get a training method. Study in a school, where they taught Yuan Chi Ju, a basic vitality technique. Join a martial arts hall, which offered varied methods, for a price. Purchase one independently, something far out of reach for the poor. A year ago, Chen Yang had been a student. Had it not been for the beast tide, he might have already made it to university. I'll try my luck with an old friend. Later that day, he arrived at a modest home, knocked twice, and waited. The door creaked open. A plump figure peeked through, then gasped. Brother Yang. A round-faced youth stepped out, his eyes wide with surprise. Can I come in? Chen Yang smiled. Of course. Let me grab you some water. No need, Fatty. I'm here for something important. This was Fatty, Chen Yang's childhood friend from school. Despite the nickname, he was warm-hearted and fiercely loyal. He'd always looked up to Chen Yang and called him brother out of habit. Did you go to college? Chen Yang asked as he sat. Fatty flopped onto a sagging sofa. You know me, brother Yang. My grades suck. Cultivation talent's average at best. Getting into university? Huh. Chen Yang chuckled. Still cultivating? Barely. I'm thinking about joining the mercenaries, Fatty replied. It's the only way to get strong now. What about you? Chen Yang met his gaze. I actually came to borrow a body training manual. A glint appeared in Chen Yang's eyes as he activated his system. Target, tall bear, Fatty. Cultivation talent, inferior. Special talent, fire element, unawakened. Brother Yang, you're cultivating again? Fatty sat upright, stunned. That's awesome. I knew you'd rise again. Excited, he ducked behind a couch and pulled out a wrinkled manual. Here, it's the Yuan Chi Ju, the one they taught us in school. Take it. No need to return it. Chen Yang held the book like a sacred treasure. Thank you, Fatty. When you're strong enough, let's head outside the city together. Hunt beasts, earn money, live like kings. Chen Yang's grip on the manual tightened. Yes, that future might not be so far away now.
Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
Fatty, thank you. Chen Yang was moved. Since getting the disease of decay and death, everyone around me is staying away from me for fear of contracting the virus. Only the fat man called himself Brother Yang, as always. Even though he knew that he hadn't been able to cultivate his vitality, he still often chatted with him. Looking at the Yuan Chi Ju in his hand, he was full of emotions. When he becomes a warrior, he must help this good brother. The two of us are still talking about this. I am more happy than anyone else when I see you can practice. When the time comes, we will go outside the city and kill all directions, making the enemy frightened. The fat man danced and danced, as if he was fantasizing about a better life in the future. Fatty, don't worry. Your wish will definitely come true. Chen Yang made a strong promise that with the talent of copying, he must become the best warrior. After returning from the fat man's house, Chen Yang couldn't wait to get into his room and start practicing. The high-level talent is really powerful. Chen Yang felt that everything was going to happen naturally, and in just an hour, he practiced the Yuan Chi Ju once. With the body training method of Yuan Chi Ju, Chen Yang felt that a certain switch in his body was turned on. A hot current gradually widened, and it slowly flowed to all parts of the body, tempering Chen Yang's physique. This heat flow can develop the potential of a human body, but ordinary warriors can only practice it 3 times a day. No amount of it will cause a burden on the body. This is the experience summed up by the predecessors. Chen Yang's cultivation speed is getting faster and faster. It used to take an hour to complete the body tempering, but now he only needs half an hour. Unknowingly, a layer of black substance appeared on the surface of Chen Yang's body. With the completion of the 3rd body quenching, Chen Yang moaned comfortably. He felt more comfortable than ever, and every part of his body was full of strength. This vitality art is indeed much better than ordinary cultivation methods. In just one day, I can cultivate so much vitality by relying on it. If this continues, I will be able to become a warrior in a short time. Chen Yang clenched his fists and felt his body. He might be able to punch 150 Jin with one punch now. Smelling the stench from his body, Chen Yang quickly took a shower. His body has recovered. He was originally skinny, and now he has a little muscle. Very hungry, Chen Yang took out a few pieces of bread and ate it quickly. After a long time, he finally replenished some energy. When my parents came back in the evening, my mother made a big bowl of braised pork for Chen Yang. Father Chen was also very happy and even bought a bottle of white wine. Seeing Chen Yang getting more and more energetic, Father Chen drank a few gulps happily. After eating, Chen Yang felt that he could still practice Yuan Qi Ju. Although it is said that ordinary warriors can only practice 3 times a day, Chen Yang has advanced cultivation talents, and practicing 3 times has not reached his limit. Chen Yang went back to the room to practice Yuan Qi Ju again, and he didn't feel tired until he practiced for the 6th time. Half a month later, Chen Yang jumped out of bed. Today's Chen Yang is no different from ordinary people on the surface. If his parents were not familiar with him, they would even feel that their son was a different person. Chen Yang quickly finished his breakfast. He couldn't wait to test his strength. Arriving at the largest joint martial arts gym in Yinqing, Chen Yang strode in. "Hello, I want to test." The young lady at the front desk raised her head and couldn't help but blush when she saw the handsome Chen Yang. "Is it a test of cultivation talent?" The lady at the front desk asked. "No, I'm going to take a physical fitness test." "Physical test." The lady at the front desk took a look at Chen Yang's thin body. She didn't look like a trained martial artist. "Okay, you register. Regardless of whether you have cultivation talent or not, as long as you take a physical fitness test, you will have to pay 200 yuan. The lady at the front desk reminded. "Okay." After filling out the information, Chen Yang went to the testing room. First is the punch test. Chen Yang made a strike like the one taught by Yuan Qi Ju. He first punched out with all his strength, and the strength test showed 175 kilograms. The lady at the front desk was a little surprised when she saw this number. She didn't expect this man to have the strength of a warrior. Try the power of vitality again. Chen Yang spread his legs and calmed down. Boom! There was a loud noise in the room, and the number on the punch test table kept jumping and finally stopped at 396. Genius! The lady at the front desk was startled. She thought 175 was the boy's limit. Unexpectedly, this full-strength blow almost caught up with a warrior. Next is speed. Chen Yang stretched his muscles and bones, and then rushed to the finish line. With the blessing of vitality, Chen Yang felt that he was walking like flying. After rushing to the end of the test, he looked up and saw that his speed had reached 18 m per second. Young man, not bad. If you become a martial artist, you can choose to join our joint martial arts hall. Chen Yang looked back and saw a middle-aged man looking at him with great interest. Hello there. Chen Yang nodded in greeting. How can I become a warrior? If you want to become a warrior, you must first meet the physical fitness standard. The minimum requirement for an ordinary warrior is to have a strength of 500 kilograms and a speed of 20 meters per second. If all these are up to standard, then you can sign up for the warrior assessment. As long as you pass the assessment, you will be awarded the warrior medal. After becoming a martial artist, you can still enjoy a monthly subsidy of 2,000 yuan from the state. If you join our martial arts school, you will be given a monthly salary of 5 yuan. 5 yuan. Chen Yang gasped when he heard this. He didn't expect the salary in the martial arts hall to be so high. Chen Yang's dream was to be admitted to the warrior university. It's a pity that he had no choice but to give up the path of university because of a change in his body and lack of talent for cultivation. Thinking about it now, becoming a nationally certified martial artist seems pretty good too. Thank you, Uncle. Chen Yang bowed. Hey, it's okay. A child as young as you can have this kind of strength, and he will definitely be able to stand out in the future. You can call me Instructor Lee. Many warriors in the army are taught by me. If there is anything you don't understand, you can come and ask me. Instructor Lee, he said. Thank you, Instructor Lee. As Chen Yang said, he was suddenly taken aback. How could he forget about copying his talent? There are many geniuses in the martial arts gym, and there are even many warriors who are coaches here. Isn't this a paradise? And this Instructor Lee in front of him is so powerful. Why can't he secretly copy a wave? Thinking of this, Chen Yang hurriedly checked Instructor Lee's talent. Human, Li Weixin. Cultivation talent, advanced talent. Special talent, strength, high, speed, medium. Be sure to copy his talent. Chen Yang walked up to Instructor Lee. Instructor Lee, your muscles are so big. Chen Yang pretended to be surprised and touched Li Weixin's arm. When will I be able to become such a martial artist, alas? Copy succeeded. Don't be discouraged. One day, you will become a warrior like me. Li Weixin laughed loudly. Then Instructor Lee, I'm leaving first. Chen Yang hurriedly left the testing room. After coming out, he looked at the other students. Many of the students here are of medium talent, and one of them actually has the talent of ice. I have to copy her talent, so I can't miss it in vain. Chen Yang thought. What he usually comes into contact with is unawakened talent. Even if he wants to copy it, he can't copy it. Now that he has the opportunity to copy the talent of awakening, he is not willing to let it go no matter what. It is a girl who has the talent of ice. Chen Yang checked the girl's information. Human, sure shall we. Cultivation talent, medium talent. Special talent, ice advanced. The girl turned her back to Chen Yang and was chatting with another girlfriend. Chen Yang had a plan in mind. He walked over with his head down, and his arm touched the girl's shoulder. Copy. Seeing the large characters copied successfully, Chen Yang was overjoyed. Sorry. Chen Yang turned around and apologized to the girl. It was this turning around that made Chen Yang amazed by the girl's face. The girl has a pure and beautiful oval face like an angel, and the preppy JK perfectly embodies the girl's figure. Look stupid, smelly man. Seeing Chen Yang's demented face, the girlfriend next to him said coquettishly, Wooing, what are you talking about? Sure shall we patted her best friend's arm coquettishly. She glanced at the boy in front of her, and she was so charmingly handsome. Sorry, I'm leaving first. Chen Yang touched the back of his head in apology. Although he left the martial arts hall, Sure Shao Wei's face was still lingering in his mind. Chen Yang walked on the road to check his talent. Human, Chen Yang. Cultivation talent, advanced talent. Special talent, copy. You can copy the talent by touching the target. Similar talents can be fused. There's a chance to evolve into a higher talent. Unawakened talent cannot be copied. Ice, high. Speed, medium. Strength, high. Great, I have 3 talents at once. Chen Yang tried to run. He felt as light as a swallow. If he were to test his speed now, he would definitely have exceeded 20 m per second. Just now, I have been able to hit 396 kilograms of strength, and now I have the strength talent. This punch must exceed 500 kilograms. Chen Yang was very excited. He just walked around the martial arts hall, and his physique reached the standard of a martial artist. Chen Yang excitedly ran to the warrior identification building. With his current physique, it shouldn't be difficult to become a warrior. Beauty, hello, I want to apply for martial artist certification. Chen Yang came to the front desk of the building and said to the staff, Identified warrior. The beauty at the front desk glanced at Chen Yang. Chen Yang's appearance looks to be in his 20s. Such a young cultivator is really rare. The conditions for being recognized as a warrior require a strength of 500 kilograms and a speed of 20 meters per second. Are you sure you want to apply? Facing the staff's question, Chen Yang smiled. I'm sure. I've reached the martial artist standard. The beauty showed a surprised expression. Please fill in a form. Okay. Chen Yang took the pen and filled in his information. The beauty looked at the information and found that this young man was only 19 years old. She couldn't help but glanced again. There are very few 19-year-old warriors, and they can even be called geniuses. If you really meet the standard of warrior foundation, you can take part in the warrior assessment 1 month later. After passing the assessment, the country will issue you a warrior certification. Thank you, by the way. What is above the warrior? Because Chen Yang dropped out of school, he didn't know the classification of warriors. The beauty showed a professional smile. Cultivators are divided into warriors and warriors. As long as they pass the assessment, they can get the warrior certification issued by the state. Each warrior can get a warrior subsidy of 2,000 yuan every month and can be allocated a house in the inner city. The beauty introduced the level of the warrior to Chen Yang. Warriors are divided into junior warriors, great warriors, martial artists, and great martial artists. Ordinary martial artists have been able to open their own martial arts gyms, and they can be regarded as relatively powerful existences among cultivators. Above the great warriors are the grandmasters. Every grandmaster is the top force in Yinqing. There are currently 9 grandmasters in Yinqing, and each grandmaster can enjoy a monthly subsidy of 10 yuan from the state. 10 yuan. After hearing this, Chen Yang couldn't help but start to fantasize about his life after becoming a master. What about the master? Above the grandmaster is the martial saint, but the martial saint is too far away from us. At present, there's only one martial saint in Yin City, and that is the Lord of Yin City. You should not be too ambitious. The beauty introduced the warrior system to Chen Yang in detail. She was a little curious about Chen Yang. Looking at his clothes, this boy didn't seem like a member of the family. If he can really become a martial artist at such a young age, he will definitely be recruited by major families in the future. Thank you, beauty. I'm just curious about these. Chen Yang smiled honestly. Remember, 1 month later, the warrior building will participate in the assessment. Every assessment will have actual combat content. You must learn some combat skills after you go back. Now, this is the admission card for the warrior assessment. The beauty expressed concern to Chen Yang. Okay. Chen Yang took the card, and the golden light on the card made Chen Yang daze for a while. My name is Lin Bing. If you have any questions about the martial artist assessment that you don't understand, you can come to me. Thank you, Miss Lin Bing. Chen Yang was grateful to Lin Bing for a while. Lin Bing blushed, but he was very happy when he heard the word beauty. Chen Yang couldn't help but check the other party's information. Human, Lin Bing. Cultivation talent, inferior talent. Special talents, none. Pity. Chen Yang shook his head. He still has a good impression of Lin Bing, but the other party is an ordinary person, and even his cultivation talent is surprisingly poor. Chen Yang left the warrior building and walked home. Now that he has the capital to become a warrior, no matter what, he must complete the certification of a warrior. At that time, he can enter the martial arts gym or choose to join the army. No matter how bad it is, he can still choose mercenaries. I heard that the income of mercenaries is very high. Sometimes hundreds of thousands can be earned in a month. When he becomes a warrior, he can enter the inner city to live. At that time, his parents will not have to travel outside every day, and his younger sister will also be able to enjoy advanced medical treatment. Be sure to cheer. Chen Yang shouted in his heart. Since God gave him a chance to be reborn, he must let his family live a happy life. After returning home, Chen Yang couldn't wait to start practicing. Half a month later, the vitality in Chen Yang's body gradually grew, and the disease of decay and death could no longer affect his health. It's time to try and get rid of the disease of decay. Chen Yang calmed down. As long as a patient with a dying disease becomes a warrior, he can suppress the infection of the virus. After reaching the foundation of a warrior, he can rely on the vitality in his body to expel the virus. Chen Yang controls the vitality in his body to flow to all parts of his body. If the vitality at the beginning of cultivation is compared to a stream, then the current vitality is a river. The vitality washed all the meridians, and the dead virus was forced to the arm by the vitality. As Chen Yang tried his best to control, The dead virus was wrapped in blood and slowly forced out from the fingertips and dripped on the ground. When the dying virus completely disappeared in his body, Chen Yang moaned comfortably. He felt extremely refreshed, as if the strength and speed talents copied before had been integrated into one to a higher level. I broke through. The body that had been suppressed by the disease of decay and death for a long time was released, and his advanced talents were fully activated. This time, he actually practiced the Yuan Qi Ju 7 times. I'm afraid my current strength has reached 800 kilograms, Chen Yang estimated in his heart, but unfortunately he didn't have testing equipment. Otherwise, he would have been able to calculate accurately. When Chen Yang came to the dining table, he was extremely thirsty, and when he picked up the teapot, there was a rumble. Hiccup, feel good. Chen Yang was a little nostalgic for the happy water in the fat house. Yinqing should be close to the equator, because Chen Yang has never seen winter in the years since he traveled here. It's a pity that although there are drinks in Yinqing, the taste is far from the iced tea and happy water on Earth. If you can drink iced black tea or happy water every time you finish your practice, you will be very happy. Chen Yang thought, when he has money, maybe he can think about it. If it is possible to produce drinks on Earth, he is sure that they will be sold well in Blue Star. Crack! Hearing a voice behind him, Chen Yang turned around. Yuling, why did you come down? I saw my younger sister's body was tied to the wheelchair with a belt, and she supported the stairs with both hands, step by step down the stairs. Chen Yang hurried over to lift the wheelchair. The weight of his sister and the wheelchair weighed about 80 kilograms. This weight was as easy as holding a glass of water in Chen Yang's hands. Yuling, I'm sorry. I've been busy practicing recently, so I've neglected you. Chen Yang looked at his sister's pale face and said distressfully. Chen Yuling shook her head obediently. It's okay, brother. I have to learn to live alone. Who said, when brother becomes a martial artist, brother will take you to the inner city immediately? Chen Yang said swearingly. Yuling, do you want to go out to bask in the sun? Okay, I haven't gone out for a long time. Chen Yuling said happily. Seeing his younger sister's excited expression, Chen Yang felt a burst of heartache. Come on, let's go out. Chen Yang pushed his sister's small wheelchair and opened the door. Chen Yang lives in a slum area close to the inner city. There is a Yang River between the two areas, and it is this river that separates the two sides. To the south of the Yang River is a poor area close to the city wall, which is also the trading and foothold for mercenaries every time they go out. The reason why the north of Yanghe River is called the inner city is entirely because the rich people live in it. The houses in the inner city are similar to the high-rise buildings on the Earth. Although they are not as good as the first-tier cities, the third-tier cities are more than enough. As for the slums, just like rural houses, they are built randomly and chaotic. There are no schools in the slums, so if you want to go to school, you have to cross the Yanghe River to the inner city. Due to state control, there are also many people from slums in the inner city working in it. Those who are lucky enough to be appreciated by certain boss may be able to stay in the inner city forever. Chen Yang took his younger sister for a walk around the inner city. The air here is fresh, unlike the slums where there is always a stench of rotting garbage. Brother, can we really live in the future? Chen Yuling looked at these tall buildings curiously. There are many colorful advertisements outside the building, the most notable of which are weapons dealers and genetic potions. Of course, your brother and I are geniuses like no one in 10,000. Just watch. It won't be long before my brother can take you in. Chen Yang affirmed. There is still half a month before the warrior assessment. After he passes the assessment, he will be assigned to a house in the inner city. Brother, I want to eat popsicles. Okay, sit here and I'll buy it for you. Chen Yang fondled his sister's hair and pockets. Only a few dozen yuan left by his parents. It seems that before the assessment, I have to find a job to earn money. Chen Yang bought 2 popsicles, handed one to his sister, and bit off half of the other with one bite. He suddenly remembered that his younger sister also had a special talent, and he wondered how to help her awaken. After sending his sister home, Chen Yang found a residence in Kaohsiung. Fatty, are you home? Chen Yang shouted at the door. It was Kaohsiung's mother who opened the door. and Chen Yang greeted with a smile. Auntie, isn't Kaohsiung here? He went out. It seems that he's going to that mission center. You can go there and look for it. Kaohsiung's mother looked at Chen Yang while talking. In her impression, didn't Chen Yang suffer from a disease of decay and death? Xiaoyang, are you feeling better? Yes, Annie, I'm also a cultivator now. Chen Yang explained. That's great. Every time I see other patients, don't mention how uncomfortable it is. Now it's great that Xiong has a friend like you. Haha no. Gao Xiong also helped me a lot. Auntie, then I'll go find him first. It is good. Gao Xiong's mother nodded with a smile. Chen Yang asked about the location, and then looked for it. He ran quickly, and soon came to the mission center in the slums. The mission center is actually a tavern where mercenaries gather. There are all kinds of people in the tavern. Here, you can receive some dangerous missions out of the city. Soon, Chen Yang found Gao Xiong, who was sitting in front of a wine table. Fatty, what are you doing here? Chen Yang patted Gao Xiong on the back. Brother Yang, you're here. Come on, everyone, this is the teammate I was talking about. Warrior, Chen Yang. As he said that, Gao Xiong pulled Chen Yang over and gave him a few winks. Warrior, just him. Opposite the wine table was a girl. Judging by her attire, she should be a resident of the inner city. This is too young. Can you tell a lie? The girl took a sip of fruit wine and mocked. Beauty, don't worry. My brother and I have a 3% completion rate. So how about it? 3W. How about it? -W, I will help you. Gao Xiong's face was not flushed and his heart was not beating. Chen Yang was a little surprised when he heard that he could pay 3 yuan for what task. I'd better go find someone else. It's a waste of time talking to you two brats. The girl stood up impatiently. Chen Yang was short of money. How could he let go of such a good thing? Beauty, please wait a moment. Although I am a warrior, ordinary warriors are not necessarily my opponent. And you have signed up for the warrior assessment. Look, this is my entry card. Chen Yang took out the assessment admission card and handed it to the girl. Oh, the girl was a little moved when she took the admission card. Beauty, look, I'm not lying. My buddy is a cultivation genius. Think about it. If you want to invite a certified warrior, you need at least 5 yuan. If you invite us, you only need 3 yuan, and my brother is not a martial artist. Weak. Seeing the girl hesitated, Gao Xiong hurriedly said. Holding the card, the girl hesitated for a while. It can be seen that 5 yuan is also very stressful for her. I want to see his strength. The girl finally spoke. This, Gao Xiong was a little embarrassed. He still didn't know Chen Yang that I just asked him for a copy of Yuan Qiju a month ago. How strong can it be now? I don't know where Chen Yang got an admission card for the assessment, but if he really went to test his strength, he would definitely reveal his secrets. Beauty, don't worry. We two warriors will run errands for you. This trivial matter is not easy. Gao Xiong pulled the girl to sit down. After some negotiations, the girl was actually moved by him. After half an hour, the girl finally left. Before leaving, he gave a 1W deposit. If the entrustment is completed, the remaining 2W will be given together. In the end, the girl told me to finish it quickly. Chen Yang couldn't help laughing as he watched the girl leave drunkenly. Gao Xiong, I didn't expect you to be quite suitable for pimping. What pimping is called wisdom. Do you understand wisdom? Gao Xiong counted the money in his hand with a smile, and then he took out half of it and handed it to Chen Yang. Brother Yang, I have to leave this matter to you. Before Chen Yang raised it first, Gao Xiong dragged Chen Yang into his group. Looking at the appearance of the fat man, Chen Yang was a little speechless. What kind of mission is it? I only see you bragging here. It's too difficult to accept. It's nothing. Just go outside the city to kill a beast. Gao Xiong didn't care. What beast? Chen Yang asked curiously. Gold Eater. That girl is from university, and the graduation task this time is the body of the Gold Eater. She dare not go out of the city, so she came here to look for mercenaries. You dare to take this kind of mission. A warrior can only deal with one gold-eating bug, but gold-eating bugs are in groups. You're not afraid of death. Chen Yang rolled his eyes. Hey, Brother Yang, I have a plan. We will set up a trap when the time comes. One of us will be in charge of luring, and the other will be in charge of killing. I've been thinking about this plan for a long time, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Besides, even ordinary mercenaries dare to take on this kind of mission. We are all warriors, so what are we afraid of? Gao Xiong raised his wine glass and toasted. Chen Yang shook his head helplessly. Ordinary mercenaries have guns and bullets. Moreover, gold-eating bugs are notoriously hard-shelled, and ordinary firearms generally can't do anything to it. Fatty, how much strength do you have now? Chen Yang asked curiously. 170 kilograms. It's still far from a martial artist. Gao Xiong replied. By the way, Brother Yang, where did you get that assessment entry card? If it weren't for that card, I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to keep that chick. I participated in the martial artist assessment half a month later, so I must have this admission card. Chen Yang took it for granted. Brother Yang, you really know how to joke. But if I work hard, I might be able to participate in the martial artist assessment in 2 years. Gao Xiong imagined. Chen Yang knew that Gao Xiong's talent was very low, and he couldn't do it in 3 or 4 years if he wanted to reach 500 kilogram strength. There are very few practitioners like myself who have advanced talents and can reach 300 kilograms in half a month. I heard that the blood of ferocious beasts can strengthen the tempered body. I don't know if it is true. You can try it after you become a warrior. If it is really useful, let the fat man soak it too. Chen Yang had a plan in mind. After dinner the next day, Chen Yang came to Gao Xiong's house early in the morning. Looking at the big iron box prepared by Gao Xiong, Chen Yang was dumbfounded. That's not the plan you're talking about, is it? Chen Yang pointed to the iron box and asked. Of course, we buried the iron box in the ground and covered it with leaves. The gold devourer would fall into it when it was chasing it, and then we just killed it. Gao Xiong explained. Do you know why the gold eater is called this name? It can bite through this iron box in less than 3 minutes. Chen Yang questioned. So we need to kill it within 3 minutes. Gao Xiong is very confident in his plan. Oh, all right. Chen Yang was speechless. When leaving the city, Chen Yang bought an alloy spear for 3,000 yuan. Even ordinary bullets can't penetrate the shell of the gold-eating bug. If the gold-eating bug really falls into a trap, it is most suitable to use an alloy spear. Most of the gold-eating bugs hide in the Black Rock Mountains to the west of the city. They feed on stones, and the leader of the gold-eating bugs can even swallow alloys, which is extremely harmful. In every beast horde, gold devourers are always the most numerous and troublesome beasts. The two carried the equipment bag bought for 1,000 yuan and headed towards the Haishi Mountains. The closer they got to the mountains, the more bloodstains on the ground. These are the bloodstains left by explorers and mercenaries. The further you go, the higher the possibility of encountering danger. Just here, Chen Yang looked at the shabby clothes scattered in every corner around him, and the front was the territory of the gold-eating bugs. Okay. Gao Xiong took out an alloy shovel, found a suitable place, and dug a big hole. He buried the iron box in the pit and covered it with a thin layer of cloth. From a distance, it is impossible to imagine that there will be a big pit below. The land in the Black Rock Mountain Range is relatively hard, but the trees are extremely rare. Standing at the bottom of the mountain and looking up, densely packed caves cover the upper part of the mountain range. Those should be the nests of gold-eating bugs. Many explorers can't come out after entering. Gao Xiong took out a bottle of medicine. Brother Yang, this is a potion that lures gold-eating insects, and its effective range is about 50 meters. Chen Yang took the potion, and he chose it as bait to seduce the gold-eating bug. He knows Fatty's physique very well. At his half level, he is not half as fast as he can run. Brother Yang, be careful. You have only become a warrior not long ago, and you must leave immediately after seeing the gold-eating insect. Gao Xiong exhorted. Understood, don't worry about me. Chen Yang handed the alloy spear to Gao Xiong and immediately poured the potion on a piece of clothing without saying a word. After putting on his coat, Chen Yang walked cautiously towards the mountains. This was his first time facing a fierce beast, but his experience as a firefighter before crossing made him very calm. Except for the tortoise's shell and hard teeth, the gold eater's physique is lower than that of a warrior. However, the most troublesome thing about gold-devouring insects is that they live in packs. Although they are easy to deal with alone, if they're facing a group, even warriors will suffer. Chen Yang approached a cave, and it was pitch black inside. He took out a flashlight and shone it in. It would be best if he could lure one out. If you're lucky, You might not even need a trap. The light of the flashlight seemed to disturb the beast in the dark, and Chen Yang knew the seduction was successful when he heard the rustling sound from inside. The next step is to see how many gold-eating bugs come out. Chen Yang took a few steps back. He was ready to run down the mountain at any time. This, a gold-eating insect the size of an iron pot jumped out from the darkness. Chen Yang jumped back and retreated quickly. There were countless pairs of dark red eyes protruding from the cave. Chen Yang felt that something was wrong, and he might have stabbed a bug's nest. Chen Yang ran down the mountain, but the road in the Haishi Mountains was very difficult, and he would fall if he was not careful. The hissing of gold-eating insects came from behind, and if you listen carefully, there are about 10 of them. I have to think of a way. The effect of this potion seems to be a bit too good. With an idea, Chen Yang took off his clothes and quickly ran to the trap. The clothes were thrown on the trap. Chen Yang found a direction and quickly slipped away. I don't know how many gold-eating bugs this potion can attract. Success! Chen Yang looked back while running and saw gold-eating insects the size of a casserole scrambling to fall into the trap. After a while, the trap was full of gold-eating bugs. Seeing Chen Yangfeng's speed, Gao Xiong was surprised while hiding behind the stone pile. Seeing that the gold-eating insect fell into the trap, Gao Xiong was both happy and hated. The joy is that the trap has played an effect, and the hate is that the trap is too small. More than a dozen gold-eating worms were attracted by the potion, but it's a pity that the pit is so big. After falling down 5 or 6 gold-eating worms, the pit will be almost full. The rest of the gold eaters jumped up and down in the pit, and Gao Xiong found himself in an embarrassing situation. The gold-eating bugs were on the trap, not one as planned, but a bunch of them. Gao Xiong didn't dare to go forward at all. Now he faces a very difficult decision, whether to give up this action and let the 3 yuan in hand turn into a cooked duck and fly away, or to find a way to kill a gold-eating bug. Gao Xiong only has 3 minutes to make a decision. After 3 minutes, the iron box will be destroyed by gold-eating bugs. Gold eaters are small experts at drilling holes. Once they are not restrained by the iron box, they can quickly escape from the ground. Chen Yang also noticed this embarrassment. If he left here, Chen Yang would have to wait for the next opportunity. Anyway, they can't catch up with me. Why not try? Chen Yang turned back not far from the trap. He picked up the stone and threw it at the gold-eating insect. The stone, filled with vitality, immediately hit the gold-eating insect in a straight line and shattered. The gold-eating worm that was hit the worms behind it, and the gold-eating worm suffered from pain and quickly shifted its target to Chen Yang. Seeing that the gold devourer was attracted by him, Chen Yang rubbed the soles of his feet with oil again. The rest of the gold-devouring insects all caught up, and only 3 were still struggling in the trap. 1 minute had passed. Gao Xiong saw the gold devourer leaving. He quickly grabbed the alloy spear and rushed towards the trap. 3 gold-eating bugs filled the trap. Gao Xiong laughed loudly, raised a spear, and stabbed into the pit. Chong! The alloy drew a white mark on the gold devourer, and Gao Xiong's arm was numb from the thorn. It's over. I won't be unable to break the defense, right? Gao Xiong was anxious. A practitioner with a strength of 400 kilograms is a warrior, and a practitioner with a strength of 100 kilograms is also a warrior. It's a pity that he happened to be stuck at more than 100 gene. With such a little strength, it would take at least 5 minutes to break through the defense of the gold-eating bug. Gao Xiong didn't have time to think. He grabbed the alloy spear and exerted his vitality to the extreme. The sharp spear finally pierced the shell of the gold-eating bug. Give me a break. Gao Xiong took the opportunity to use his strength again. If it wasn't for this spear, he might have stared at the gold devourer. The gold-eating bug struggled frantically, but the pit was so big. There were iron boxes on the left and right, and there was very little room for movement. Crack! Just when Gao Xiong used all his strength to stab the spear into the body of the gold-eating worm, the iron box couldn't help the other 2 gold-eating worms and finally split open. The shattered iron box was quickly swallowed by the gold-eating worms, and the 2 gold-eating worms quickly bit a big hole in the breach. Oops! Gao Xiong hastily pulled out the spear, but the spear got stuck on the shell of the gold-eating bug. The gold-eating insect whose shell was pierced was struggling violently in the broken iron box. In just a dozen seconds, a gold-eating insect came out of the trap from the ground. Gao Xiong was so anxious for a moment, he could only let go of the alloy spear and run away. If he was one step later, he would become the lunch of gold-eaters. It's a pity that Gao Xiong didn't take a few steps, and the remaining gold-eating bug broke through the ground. Gao Xiong screamed, and his steps became more flexible. The two gold-eaters spotted Gao Xiong and chased after him. Gao Xiong wailed and howled to hide among the stone piles, but was chased up by the gold-eaters behind him after a while. My life is over. Gao Xiong dodged the blow in panic, and just when he thought he was going to die on the spot, a figure knocked the gold-eating bug away from behind. Brother Yang. Seeing the visitor, Gao Xiong stared at two lantern-sized eyes. He never imagined that the gold devourer who was chasing him to escape an embarrassment was actually knocked into the air by a warrior who had only been practicing for a month. Chen Yang rubbed his fists. His all-out blow had a force of at least 800 kilometers. Even the gold-eating insects couldn't resist it. He fell heavily to the ground and spit out a mouthful of green blood. Eat my leg. Chen Yang kicked the other gold-eating worm into the stone pile with a whip leg, and the two gold-eating worms immediately lost their strength and fell to the ground. Brother Yang Nyo Cha plus. Gao Xiong jumped up excitedly. Only now did he realize that Chen Yang wasn't bragging. He really has the qualifications to participate in the martial artist assessment. Hurry up and tidy up. I finally got rid of it, and those gold-eating bugs will come back later. Chen Yang ran to the trap and pulled out the alloy spear, and then made up the three gold-eating bugs one by one. Brother Yang, you'll be my thigh from now on. Gao Xiong packed the three corpses into the backpack excitedly. Chen Yang smiled and left the black stone mountains with him. Brother Yang, why are you so powerful? On the way, Gao Xiong kept asking Chen Yang. Chen Yang reluctantly told Gao Xiong about his advanced cultivation talent. Gao Xiong was envious and shouted that God was unfair. After returning to Yinqing, it was already afternoon. After a simple meal, the two began to contact their employers. In front of the wine table in the mission center, the girl looked at the two with a gloomy expression. What's the matter? Are you going to give up the mission? The girl thought that the two of them thought the task was too difficult and planned to refund the money. After all, it was only a day, and she never expected that the other party had already obtained the corpse of the gold-eating bug. What are you talking about? Am I, Gao Xiong, this kind of person? Gao Xiong swung his backpack on the table arrogantly. Hey, this is a gold-eating bug. The girl suspiciously opened the backpack and saw that it was really the corpse of the gold-eating bug. She looked at the two of them in surprise. You guys are amazing. The girl happily accepted the backpack and handed the remaining money to the two of them. Thank you. If I need it next time, I will definitely come back to you. It's your luck to meet Mr. Fatty. I'll buy this glass of wine. Draught. The girl drank the fruit wine in front of her in one gulp. Her face turned red immediately. Leave a contact information. The girl said, I don't have a mobile phone. You can keep the fat one. Chen Yang accepted the money, and now he has become a millionaire. After sending the girl away, the fat man happily drank 2 cups. Chen Yang also followed him. After going through this mission, he has a better understanding of his own physique. Brother Yang, I will find someone to sell the remaining corpses later, and we will be rich by then. 1 yuan is indeed a lot of wealth for the people in the slums. Chen Yang gently shook his wine glass, and he began to think about how to spend this huge sum of money. Brother Yang, if there are tasks in the future, would you take them? Gao Xiong looked at Chen Yang expectantly. Chen Yang thought for a while, then nodded. You can pick it up, but you have to do what you can. In addition, our equipment is really poor. Next time we go out, we must be fully prepared. Okay, everything is up to Brother Yang. Gao Xiong ran to the front desk of the mission center with a smile, and after a while, the corpses of the other 2 gold-eating bugs were disposed of. The 2 gold-eating insects were sold for a total of 7 yuan. With such a high price, one can imagine how precious the corpse of the beast is. Chen Yang only took 4, which is enough for him now. Then it's time to deal with the assessment. Chen Yang clenched his fists. If nothing else, he will become a martial artist in half a month. After experiencing this mission, Chen Yang discovered that he had a big weakness. He can only cultivate vitality, but he doesn't know how to use it at all. Simple fists and kicks cannot fully display the true power of vitality, and now he urgently needs a fighting skill. In addition to the body tempering technique, there are only simple moves and power-generating techniques on a Yuan Qi Ju. If you want to truly exert the power of your Yuan Qi, a combat skill is essential. Chen Yang thought for a while and decided to go to the inner city to buy a book of combat skills. When he came to the warrior certification building, Chen Yang began to look for a book of combat skills that suited him. In addition to being able to sign up for the warrior assessment, the warrior building also sells a lot of equipment and combat skills. There is a large chamber of commerce on the second floor. The second floor is full of beautiful things and eyes. Chen Yang just found a shop and started to browse. Chen Yang took a rough look at the bid price. Some special talent combat skills start from hundreds of thousands to millions, and even the most common ones cost tens of thousands. I thought I was a rich man, but now I looked at my trouser pockets. It seemed that I couldn't afford the 5 yuan at all. Hello, what do you need? The shop owner is a young woman. Seeing that Chen Yang had walked around but didn't buy anything, she couldn't help but step forward and asked. The proprietress didn't have any hope either. After all, Chen Yang didn't look like a kid from a rich family. Hi, boss. I want to ask, is there any cheaper combat skills? Chen Yang was a little shy. Young man, at first glance, you must be a martial artist who has just practiced. It happened that nothing happened. The proprietress explained it to Chen Yang. If you want to learn combat skills, you have to become a warrior. Otherwise, you won't be able to practice anything with a little vitality in your body. After becoming a warrior, the country will give you a chance to choose combat skills for free. Just like here, basically all the combat skills with special talents are sold. Being a warrior can also choose combat skills. Chen Yang was excited when he heard this. Actually, I've already signed up for the martial artist assessment. I was afraid of accidents during the assessment, so I came to see if there are any good combat skills that I can use. Chen Yang explained. Oh, you are already a martial artist at such a young age. Hearing Chen Yang's words, the proprietress was a little moved. How many combat skills can you accept? Asked the proprietress. Within 5W. The proprietress frowned. This guy actually has a little money. I have 2 here. You could take a look. Saying that, the proprietress took out 2 books of combat skills from under the cabinet. Chen Yang took it over and took a look. One was called Yuan Qi Fist, and the other was called Broken Bone. This Vitality Fist is a combat technique taught in school. If you are admitted to a university and enter the Warrior Academy, then there is no need to learn this combat technique. I dropped out of school and didn't take the Martial Arts Academy. Chen Yang opened Yuan Qi Fist and looked. I don't know if copying talents can copy combat skills. Chen Yang used his talents while watching, but unfortunately failed. Looking at Yuan Qi Quan, it seems to be the follow-up version of Yuan Qi Ju. No wonder it is only taught in universities. Just this one, how much is it? Chen Yang picked up Yuan Qi Fist and asked. It's not something expensive. You can give me dash. The proprietress was a little surprised that Chen Yang didn't take the university entrance exam. Give me another battle suit. Chen Yang thought about it and decided to do everything right. Okay, for W will help you get everything done together. The proprietress readily took out a set of combat uniforms. Chen Yang opened it. It was a set of black clothes. The battle suit is very light, and the material is made of special fibers, which should be extracted from ferocious beasts. This suit is comparable to the shell of a gold-eating bug. Wearing it, ordinary bullets will definitely not be able to hurt you. The proprietress introduced the functions of the battle suit. It is waterproof, fireproof, and bulletproof. If Chen Yang had this suit before, he might be able to kill all those gold-eating bugs. Do you collect beast materials here? Chen Yang asked after paying. Take it. If you have materials in the future, you can sell them to me. The price is absolutely fair, and you won't suffer any disadvantages. The proprietress laughed. Okay, I will definitely find you next time. Thanks, lady boss. Chen Yang put his things into his backpack, looked in his trouser pocket, and found that there was only 1 W left. Oh, let's just spend it all. Chen Yang didn't expect the money to be used up so quickly. With the remaining money, he bought 2 sets of clothes for his parents and younger sister, and then bought a lot of snacks and meat. When he got home, Chen Yang was already covered with bags. Yuling, look what my brother brought back for you. As soon as he entered the house, Chen Yang shouted, "Wow, brother, why did you buy so many things?" Chen Yuling looked at her brother who had returned with a full load, with a look of surprise. "Your brother took a job and made a lot of money. Look, I even bought you new clothes." Chen Yang took out 2 sets of dresses and put them on his sister's lap. "So beautiful!" Chen Yuling shouted excitedly. Because of poverty, the brother and sister may not have a new dress to wear all year round. Looking at the worn t-shirt on his younger sister, Chen Yang realized how difficult it was for his parents to raise them. "I will support this family from now on." Chen Yang thought to himself, "My brother bought you a lot of snacks and a unicorn doll, so you won't be so boring at home in the future." Chen Yang took out the things all at once, and his sister was dumbfounded. "Thank you, brother. Brother is the best." Chen Yuling hugged the unicorn and couldn't put down. It was the best gift she had received in the past few years. "Brother, are all practitioners rich?" Looking at the pile of things on the table, Chen Yuling asked curiously. "Of course, my brother will buy you a lot of clothes and food in the future. If only I could become a cultivator." Chen Yuling imagined. Rain Spirit will definitely become a cultivator in the future. Chen Yang rubbed his sister's little head and said with a smile, "My brother's going to cook a big meal." "Brother, you can cook." "Of course, my brother's a little chef." Chen Yang brought the dishes into the kitchen, showing his cooking skills before time traveled to the fullest. When the parents came back in the evening, they were surprised to see the exquisite food on the table and the gift Chen Yang gave them. Knowing that this was Chen Yang's extra money, Father Chen happily opened the wine bottle again. "Mom and Dad, I'm going out to practice first, and I'll be back later." "Okay, stay safe." Mother tidied up the dishes and shouted with a smile, while Father Chen was already lying on the sofa and fell asleep. After going out to find an open space, Chen Yang began to practice Yuan Qi Fist. Yuan Qi Ju and Yuan Qi Fist are similar to each other, and it is much easier to practice. Under the influence of advanced talent, Chen Yang learned Yuan Qi Fist in only 1 hour. Try the power. Chen Yang aimed at a boulder, poured vitality into his fist according to the movement on Yuan Qi Fist, then inhaled, accumulated strength, and punched. Boom! The boulder was torn apart under Chen Yang's fist and exploded into countless pieces. Yuan Qi Ju and Yuan Qi Fist cooperate tacitly with each other. After using combat skills, this punch should exceed 1,000 kilograms. Chen Yang was very satisfied, and the remaining goal was to master Yuan Qi Quan within half a month. In half a month, Chen Yang fused the advanced cultivation talent into the top cultivation talent. Practicing every day can feel the vitality in the body is growing. It's time to take the assessment. Chen Yang put down the bowl and chopsticks. "Yuling, my brother is going to participate in the martial artist assessment. You can eat something at home today." "I know, brother. There's a lot of bread at home. You don't have to worry about me," Chen Yuling said obediently while sitting in a wheelchair in a black dress. "Brother, come on, you can definitely do it." Seeing her brother going out, Chen Yuling cheered inside the house. "Wait for my good news." Chen Yang waved his hand, packed his things, and walked to the warrior building. Today's warrior building is very lively. Regardless of whether they are qualified to participate in the assessment, warriors from Yinqing will come to have a look. The martial artist assessment is held every 2 months, and every time someone passes the assessment, there will be cheers outside. The martial artist assessment is divided into 2 stages. The first stage is to test the warrior's physique. As long as the strength reaches 500 kilograms and the speed reaches 20 meters per second, it will be considered a pass. The second stage is to fight with fierce beasts. Strength alone is not enough. To become a warrior, one must have the courage to fight fierce beasts. Chen Yang walked through the crowd into the warrior building, and the people around him cast envious glances at him. Admission card. A security guard at the door blocked the way. Chen Yang took out a golden card and handed it to the security guard. Accessible. The security guard took the card and swiped it on a machine. After the green light turned on, the security guard returned the card to Chen Yang. Entering the interior of the building, hundreds of people have gathered inside. Many of them have participated in the assessment many times, and they only have one chance to become a warrior. So young. Seeing Chen Yang coming in, several men inside the door looked at him curiously. I guess he's here to join in the fun. Seeing how young he is, he should be a student from the martial arts academy to exercise his courage. A man analyzed. Oh, it's him. In the corridor on the second floor, a middle-aged man looked at Chen Yang with surprised eyes. Why, Instructor Lee knows? A man in a silver robe next to the middle-aged man asked curiously. He came to our martial arts gym last month. I didn't expect him to come to participate in the assessment. He seems very confident. Li Weixin smiled lightly. Looking at his age, I guess he won't even pass the first test. The man in the silver robe is not optimistic about Dao. That's not necessarily the case. His strength in the last test was already 400 kilograms. Maybe he has improved in this month. Then we make a bet. The silver-robed man asked back. Li Weixin paused. Why, dare not take it. The silver-robed man seemed to want to provoke Li Weixin. What do you want to bet on? If Instructor Li is not confident, then just block 100 million. The silver-robed man didn't care. Then you are doomed. Li Weixin seems to be very optimistic about Chen Yang. He thinks Chen Yang has great potential, otherwise he wouldn't have invited him as soon as they met. Then why not add another bet? If he passes the first test, I will bet that he can't pass the second test. How about it, come or not? The silver-robed man continued to ask. You guys are really good at taking advantage. You know that he may have just reached the martial artist standard. But I also want to know if he can pass the martial artist assessment. Tell me, what is the second bet? Li Weixin was aroused interest. The second time, you must gamble a little bit more, a book of advanced combat skills. Of course, if you think it's unfair, you can also press against it. The silver-robed man challenged. It's rare to have some fun. Okay, I'll pressure him to pass the test. Li Weixin was also unambiguous. Although a book of advanced combat skills is expensive, he can still get it. It seems that Instructor Li really has confidence in him. The silver-robed man couldn't help but look at Chen Yang a few more times. Chen Yang was completely unaware that someone had bet on him. He walked around on the first floor and saw two former high school classmates. Hey, are you Chen Yang? A boy was stunned for a while when he saw Chen Yang walking over. If I remember correctly, Chen Yang seemed to have contracted the death disease before the college entrance examination, right? Just as Chen Yang was about to say hello, he suddenly found two girls behind his classmate. At first glance, they were very familiar with each other. Yi Ziyang, Ma Jia. Chen Yang walked over. The two girls turned their heads when they heard the voice, and the three showed surprised expressions at the same time. You're here too. You are here too. Smelly man, what are you doing here? And you want to get our Xiao Wei's idea? Wu Ying shouted. Are you really Chen Yang? Xiao Wei, do you know each other? Yi Ziyang was puzzled. I met once last time, and there was a little misunderstanding. Chen Yang laughed. You just want to chase our Xiao Wei, don't lie. Wu Ying didn't have much affection for Chen Yang, mainly because when she saw Chen Yang for the first time, Chen Yang was wearing an old t-shirt, and she looked like a person from slum area. And sure, Xiao Wei is from a wealthy family, and her family background is not bad, so she naturally looks down on Chen Yang. Wu Ying, others have already apologized, so forget it. Sure, Xiao Wei stopped her. Since everyone knows each other, let it be a misunderstanding. Although Ma Jia didn't know what happened between them, but sure Xiao Wei didn't care, and he was willing to come out to mediate. No big deal. Is this your friend? Sure, Xiao Wei asked curiously. A high school classmate who dropped out in the third year of high school because he was infected with the disease of decay and death. Yi Ziyang explained. Disease? You're lucky. Seeing that Chen Yang was in high spirits, Wu Ying naturally knew that he was fine. That's right, Chen Yang. Why have you come to participate in the martial artist assessment in just over a year? You must know that the first level of the martial artist assessment requires 500 kilograms of strength to be selected. Maj asked. I'll give it a try. You guys are here anyway. Chen Yang asked without explaining. We are also here to try. Anyway, we will test martial arts in the future. If you understand it now, you'll have more experience in the future. If you're lucky, it is not impossible. Yi Ziyang explained the intentions of several people. I really envy you. Chen Yang sighed. Originally, he could have been admitted to university if he hadn't suffered from the damned senility disease. Yi Ziyang and Ma Jie are both from the inner city, and their cultivation resources are much better than those of the warriors in the slums. Where's Lu Xian? How's she doing? Chen Yang hesitated for a while and asked. Lu Xian was Chen Yang's girlfriend in high school. Because of her good grades, Chen Yang didn't feel too inferior at that time. But since he got the disease of decay and death, Chen Yang gave up on love. He didn't want Lu Xian to propose a breakup, so he might as well make a knife or two first. Now that he is about to become a warrior, Lu Xian's figure naturally appeared in his mind. Yi Ziyang looked at Ma Jie and seemed a little hard to say. She had a good life and was admitted to university. It's just that she didn't have the talent for cultivation, so she didn't get into the warrior academy. Ma Jie said, anything else? Chen Yang saw that the faces of the two were not right, and it seemed that there was something to hide. Anyway, you broke up too, so I'll tell you. Yi Ziyang paused. Lu Xian is getting married soon. The scene fell into silence for a while. Just as Wu Ying wanted to ask who Lu Xian was, Sure Shall We tugged at the hem of her clothes to tell her not to speak. It's pretty good. Chen Yang broke the calm, with a seemingly relaxed expression, but his eyes were dull. The assessment is about to begin. Sure Shall We looked at the time and said, Chen Yang, do you want to compare? Seeing that Chen Yang was a little depressed, Ma Jie wanted to stimulate him. Forget it. Your resources are so good. You will definitely pass the first assessment. Chen Yang refused. Of course, although I have only practiced for 1 year, this lady has already reached the standard of a warrior. Wu Ying was eager to try it and wished she could show it off now. Isn't it, Chen Yang? Don't be discouraged either. Your luck is already very good. It's not bad to know that 20 people in the slums can have one warrior. I'm afraid there's only one warrior in 100, right? It's a pity that you can't pass the first test. Otherwise, you can learn some experience in dealing with fierce beasts. Wu Ying looked at Chen Yang proudly and said. Chen Yang was a little puzzled. Why did this woman target him a little bit? Could it be because she was from a slum? Chen Yang didn't bother to care about it, and he would naturally be able to compete with each other in the assessment later. Thinking about it, Chen Yang checked Wu Ying's talent. Human, Wu Ying. Cultivation talent, medium talent. Special talent, water elemental, medium. There is actually a special talent? Chen Yang was moved, but it might be difficult to meet Wu Ying, so he had to figure out a way later. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Chen Yang also reviewed the talents of Yi Ziyang and Ma Jie. Human, leaf poplar. Cultivation talent, medium talent. Special talent, speed, medium. Human mosh. Cultivation talent, medium talent. Special talent, strength, medium. Both students have special talents, but Chen Yang has already copied Instructor Li's. If you want to integrate the duplication talent, you have to find a similar and equivalent talent. Chen Yang's talent for strength is already high, but his talent for speed can be replicated. Yi Ziyang, I'm going to the toilet. Chen Yang patted Yi Ziyang on the shoulder. Copy succeeded. Okay. Yi Ziyang nodded. Seeing that the copy was successful, Chen Yang immediately merged his speed talents. Fortunately, there was a tingle in the brain, and the fusion of speed talent was successful. Chen Yang checked his talent. Human, Chen Yang. Cultivation talent, top talent. Special talent, copy. Talent can be copied by touching the target. Similar talents can be fused. There's a chance to evolve into a higher talent. Unawakened talents cannot be copied. Speed talent, advanced. Strength talent, advanced. Ice talent, advanced. Not bad. Chen Yang nodded in satisfaction, and then he began to observe the talents of other people in the hall. After seeing a few, the talents were not as high as his. That person has the element of water, and the other person has the element of fire. Chen Yang suddenly discovered 2 special talents, and he repeated his old tricks. Anyway, the hall is full of people, and it's normal to be touched occasionally. Water element and fire element are in hand. Human, Chen Yang. Cultivation talent, top talent. Special talent, copy. talent can be copied by touching the target. Similar talents can be fused. There's a chance to evolve into a higher talent. Unawakened talents cannot be copied. Speed talent, advanced. Strength talent, advanced. Ice talent, advanced. Water elemental, medium. Fire elemental, medium. Chen Yang smiled. Just as he was about to find more talents, the assessment teacher came out. Quiet. Although no loudspeaker was used for this sound, everyone in the hall could hear it clearly. Chen Yang looked up, and there was an acquaintance next to the assessment teacher in the middle of the hall. What a thick voice. This teacher is at least a martial artist. A man next to Chen Yang said in shock. A martial artist is considered to be very powerful in Yinqing. If the standard for a martial artist is 500 kilograms of strength, then a great martial artist has a strength of 2,000 kilograms. And a martial artist is above a great martial artist. Even if it is the minimum standard, he needs to reach 10,000 kilograms. Why is Instructor Lee here? Could it be that he is also an assessment teacher? Chen Yang looked at the two people on the stage. One was a man in a silver robe. He was the one who shouted those two words just now. The other was wearing a black t-shirt, and the muscles on his chest made the clothes very tight. He was Instructor Lee. The assessment rules are announced below. The first round of assessment is strength and speed testing. There are 5 test machines behind me, with 5 people in each group. Everyone is lined up. If the strength reaches 500 kilograms and the speed reaches 20 meters per second, it is considered qualified. The second round of assessment will be held outside the city. I will explain the rules to you after the first round. Is there anything you don't understand? The silver-robed man explained the rules and asked. No. Everyone in the audience replied in unison. Very good. Of course, there is one thing I want to make clear in advance. If someone wants to cheat by special means, once found out, they will be permanently disqualified from the assessment. I will announce that the first round of assessment will begin. The silver-robed man didn't smudge at all. Maybe because he presided too much, he didn't say a word of nonsense. Chen Yang was ranked behind because he wanted to copy his talent. He carefully observed the martial apprentices who participated in the assessment, and a quarter of them had strength between 480 kilograms and 490 kilograms. Isn't this too much of a waste of time? Chen Yang retested after seeing them fail once. Some of them finally passed the standard, but they were failed again in the speed test. The warriors this time are not good. Let me say that it is a waste of time to let people from the slums take part in the assessment. The silver-robed man said disdainfully. Most of them have reached the passing line, but they don't know how to use skills, so they're a little bit worse. Li Weixin saw through the reasons for those losers at a glance. This time the slums don't even have 10 passers-by. That little girl is pretty good. She actually hit 637 kilograms of strength. The man in silver robe looked at Xiaowi's test results and nodded in satisfaction. The warriors in the inner city are better. Whether it's the inner city or the outer city, they are all from Yinqing. It's just that the warriors from the outer city have lived in the inner city, which makes the warriors from the inner city more powerful. Li Weixin said lightly. Okay, you are amazing. How many kilograms of strength do you think that kid can hit? The silver-robed man looked at Chen Yang's figure and smiled. It's a little more than 500 kilograms. I don't know if he used his full strength last time. If I had to guess, I would guess 550 kilograms. Li Weixin thought for a while and said, Haha, it's really interesting. I can't wait. The silver-robed man licked his lips. Chen Yang has been watching from behind. Xiaowi's assessment results made him look at this girl with admiration. Although she knew that she would definitely pass the first round of assessment, but without using the talent of ice, she could hit 632 kilograms of strength, which is already very powerful among this group of warriors. Moreover, Xiaowi is still in college at a young age. When she graduates, she may already be a martial artist. Chen Yang guessed that if she used the talent of ice, she should be able to hit 800 kilograms of strength. Half an hour later, it was finally Chen Yang's turn to play. Chen Yang walked forward slowly. He thought for a while, should he hide his strength? Wuing, do you think he can pass? Xiaowi stood aside and asked. There's nothing to guess about it. Didn't Yi Ziyang say that he suffered from a disease of decay and death a year ago? That is to say, he can practice for half a year at most. Unless he is very talented, how can a person in a poor area reach the level of death in half a year? Warrior Foundation. Wooing glanced at Shall We curiously. Shall We? You don't have a crush on him, do you? What are you talking about? I'm just curious. Shall We blushed. She doesn't know why. There are many geniuses around her, and there are even a few who became warriors before the age of 20, but she is more curious about the boy in front of her. A 19-year-old boy from a poor area. Can he really pass the first round of martial arts assessment? Chen Yang came in front of the testing machine. If he hit with all his strength, he would be able to hit at least 1,000 kilograms of force. But those who are familiar with him know that he has only cultivated for a short time. If he has improved so fast, will it arouse suspicion? Duplicating talent is his biggest secret. After thinking about it, he decided to keep a low profile. You don't need Yuan Chi Fist. Chen Yang inhaled and hit the machine tester casually. Oh, Chen Yang watched the numbers jump and finally stopped at 701 kilograms. It seems that I have not caught it. Chen Yang pretended to rest and thought in embarrassment. Zhang Han, you're doomed to lose this time. I didn't expect such a big surprise in this assessment. 19-year-old martial artist, TSK. Li Weixin laughed out loud, and there was almost no problem passing the second round with a strength of 700 kilograms. Thinking that I have already won 100 million, and I also have a book of advanced combat skills, I am very happy. I can't see it. You guy actually lied to me. Whoever can practice an extra 300 kilograms of strength in a month, you are setting me up. Zhang Han said with an unhappy face. My God, how is this possible? Everyone in the audience focused their attention on Chen Yang, with a strength of 700 kilograms, which should be the highest stat among this group of warriors. This kid must have a talent for strength, or the tester is broken. Wooing was also shocked by this statistic. 700 kilograms is a very powerful genius in the inner city. How could it appear on a boy from a poor area? Yi Xiang, are you sure you have only practiced for less than a year? Yi Xiang nodded in shock. Maybe only half a year. Marger muttered, but no one heard him say anything. After the meeting is over, he can be invited to join the Chamber of Commerce. Shall we plan to say? The next one is the speed test. The speed test is also very simple. Stand on a specific treadmill. As long as the speed reaches 20 m per second, you can get off. There are not many twists and turns in this test. Chen Yang immediately left the treadmill when he saw that he had reached the standard. The final result is 21 m per second. This kid definitely didn't use his full strength. Seeing Chen Yang's relaxed face, Li Weixin couldn't help saying. He was very surprised by Chen Yang's strength. Unless Chen Yang had hidden his clumsiness last time, otherwise, he has improved so much in such a short period of time, and his cultivation talent must be incredible. It seems that you were right. There are geniuses in the slums. Why do I feel that he will be able to become a martial artist in a few years? The silver-robed man Zhang Han shook his head, as if he was defeated by Chen Yang's talent. Why? You don't want to rob me, do you? Li Weixin asked maliciously. He might be talented in advanced cultivation. Should I let it go? Zhang Han expressed his opinion. I saw him first. Li Weixin was dissatisfied. In about 2 hours, everyone in the hall was assessed, except for a man in the inner city who hit 906 kilograms and a woman who hit 813 kilograms. Chen Yang's data ranked third. Chen Yang looked at the remaining people. There were more than 50 people. There are so many people who have reached the standard martial artist foundation. Chen Yang was surprised. Although many people were almost 30, being able to become a martial artist meant that they were superior to others. Very good. First of all, congratulations on passing the first round of assessment. Among all of you present, there are people who have participated in multiple martial artist assessments. I don't need to tell you that you should know that the first round of assessment is just an appetizer. If even the first round of assessment is so strenuous, then I suggest you give up the second round, because you may die. Li Weixin turned on the screen in the lobby, and on it was a life and death certificate. The second round of assessment is outside the city, where we have a special assessment site. Although there are surveillance and martial artists in charge, not everyone has time to help. In the second round of assessment, you will face the ferocious beast. I will not tell you the type of the ferocious beast. If you are afraid, you can quit now. If you want to participate, come to me to get a certificate of life and death. Once you sign, any casualties during the assessment have nothing to do with us. Do you understand? Tai was silent for a while. Some who have participated in the assessment naturally know the rules, and more have not participated in the assessment. Sister Xiao Wei, it sounds scary. Why don't we come again next time? Wu Ying held Sure Xiao Wei's hand, a little scared. There are 4 of us. What are you afraid of? It's really not possible. I will protect you. Yi Ziyang stood up and said, Yeah, they don't know each other, but we are different. If we form a team together, maybe we can all complete the assessment. Ma Jie was a little moved. Why don't you call that Chen Yang over? He's so powerful. Let him take us. Wu Ying suddenly thought, Don't you dislike him? Sure Xiao Wei smiled. No, I just don't want someone to fall in love. Wu Ying refused to admit it. What nonsense? Sure Xiao Wei said shyly. I'll go ask. Yi Ziyang thought the idea was good, so he found Chen Yang. Chen Yang, do you want to form a team together? We have 4 people here, and the success rate of passing the assessment should be much higher if we all work together. Well, I'm alone anyway. Chen Yang agreed without thinking for long. He didn't know that although the assessment did not prohibit team formation, it would be a big mistake if he thought that forming a team would reduce the difficulty of the assessment. Except for a few timid warriors who withdrew, most warriors still chose to continue the assessment. I heard that every time an assessment is made, someone will lose half their life. Fortunately, there are so many of us, otherwise I wouldn't dare to participate. Wu Ying took the certificate of life and death, and finally signed it cruelly. Wu Ying, you are so timid. Don't you have special talents? Sure Xiao Wei smiled. Oh, people just think that the beast looks scary. And I don't know what kind of beast it is, if it is a mouse or something. Hey, I'm afraid of having nightmares. Thinking of that scene in Wu Ying's mind, she couldn't help but shudder. After carefully looking at the life and death contract, Chen Yang signed it without hesitation. Although the ferocious beast looks scary, as long as it has hard strength or understands its weaknesses, it is actually the same as an ordinary warrior. It's just that warriors may be merciful, but ferocious beasts will not. After signing the life and death certificate, everyone gets a black watch. There is a positioning device on the watch. If you are in danger, press the red button on the watch, and a warrior will come to rescue. But in the same way, pressing the button also means losing the qualification for the assessment. Everyone is done signing. Follow me to the car. Li Weixin and Zhang Han led a team by themselves. Chun Fan checked Zhang Han's talent. Human, Zhang Han. Cultivation talent, advanced talent. Special talent, speed, medium, strength, medium, mind power, medium. Nianli, this is the first time I have seen this talent. Chen Yang wanted to touch Zhang Han, but it was a pity that Zhang Han was leading another team, so there was no chance in a short time. Listen up, everyone. The next thing I want to talk about is the assessment rules. After Li Weixin saw that everyone was seated, he began to talk about precautions. The second round of assessment is at a base outside the city. The base covers 100 square kilometers, and there are various beasts living in different areas. The ferocious beasts are divided into ranks 1 to 7, among which warriors correspond to the first rank ferocious beasts, warriors correspond to the second rank ferocious beasts, and so on. The most powerful one in the base is the second-tier beast, and your assessment tasks are ranked according to the points. You get 2 points for killing the first-tier beast, and 10 points for killing the second-tier beast. You have a total of 3 hours, and if you get 500 points, you will pass the warrior assessment. In addition, we will rank according to the points, and the one who ranks first will be rewarded with a book of advanced combat skills and $1,000,000 in cash. The second and third place rewards a book of intermediate combat skills, $100,000,000 in cash. The 4th to 10th rewards a book of primary combat skills, $50 in cash. Those who rank after 10 will reward a book of primary combat skills and $1,000 in cash. So in addition to completing the assessment, If you have confidence in yourself, you can also choose to challenge the ranking. Once the 3 hours are up, all points records will be invalid after that. So after 3 hours, everyone gathers at the gate of the base. It seems to be not bad. The 5 of us only need to kill 22nd level beasts. Wu Ying stretched out her hand to make up her mind. I don't know how many beasts there are in this 100 square kilometers. It seems a bit difficult to kill 10 of them in 3 hours. Yi Xiang thought. Let's go in and talk about it. The terrain is so big. As long as we can find the beast, it shouldn't be difficult to kill it. Ma Jie analyzed. Chen Yang, what do you think? Sure shall we asked. If we just complete the assessment, we only need to find 10 beasts within 3 hours. But if we want to compete for the rankings, 10 are definitely not enough. Chen Yang expressed his thoughts. Crush the ranking? Sure shall we glanced at Chen Yang. What made this boy from the slums so bold? However, sure shall we felt that Chen Yang had this strength, and the strength of 700 kilograms already surpassed many newly certified warriors. If you're lucky, it shouldn't be a problem to fight for second and third. Let's look at the rankings. I think it's a bit difficult to kill 10 beasts in 3 hours. Yi Xiang is very aware of his own strength, and he may not be able to beat one side, let alone 2 sides. Chen Yang didn't answer. Even Sure Shall We didn't know that Chen Yang was thinking about how to win number 1. The entrances to the destinations of the 2 cars are different. Chen Yang can probably tell that they are heading west of the city. Half an hour later, the car stopped. Li Weixin, who followed everyone, got out of the car, and they came to a row of city walls. Everyone follow me in. Li Weixin led the team. What about the rest? A man asked curiously. The entrances for you to enter are different. We enter from Area A, and they enter from Area B. The distribution of fierce beasts is also irregular. It all depends on your luck. Li Weixin led everyone into the base, and saw that the base was filled with all kinds of weapons, which should be for them to choose. Everyone chooses the weapon they need, and half an hour later, they will officially enter the second round of exams. Sure enough, as Chen Yang expected, these weapons were all used for assessment. Chen Yang, what do you choose? Yi Xiang leaned over and asked. Chen Yang was a little confused. He had never practiced special weapons, and the only time he killed the gold-eating bug was with his own fists. Chen Yang wandered around for a while, and finally chose an alloy heavy blade and a pair of boxing gloves. Chen Yang is very satisfied with this pair of gloves. The inside of the gloves is soft, and the outside is hard. There are several hard spikes in the upper part, and there is a small mechanism inside to pop out the bone spurs if necessary. It's a bit like Wolverine's claws, but it's definitely not as hard as Wolverine's. Chen Yang originally wanted to choose a Tai Dao, but the Tai Dao was light and light in his hand, and it was not suitable for violence at all. On the contrary, the heavy blade is quite suitable for Chen Yang. He doesn't need any fancy skills to break through thousands of troops with one force. Violent man, this knife must weigh 100 caddies, right? Seeing the heavy blade behind Chen Yang, Wu Ying opened her mouth exaggeratedly and exclaimed, with such a big weapon, those ferocious beasts are not all about one blow. Ma Jie touched the heavy blade and said enviously, if you like, you can choose to. Yi Xiang laughed. Forget it. I still prefer to use a sword. Ma Jie picked up a long sword and played a few swords in his hand. In the warrior academy, Ma Jie practiced the long sword. Now to deal with the beast, he chose the weapon he was most familiar with. Half an hour passed quickly, and the weapons chosen by the other warriors were also varied. Everyone enter through the passage behind me. After the passage door is opened, the assessment will officially begin. Pay attention to your watches. There is a countdown to the assessment on it. Li Weixin opened a door. He looked at Chen Yang and smiled, as if he had expected that Chen Yang would pass the examination. Seeing Chen Yang and others entering the passage, Li Weixin turned on the communication equipment. Hey, Zhang Han, how are you doing? Just finished, what's the matter? Zhang Han was a little puzzled. This guy probably wanted to laugh at himself. I thought about it, and felt that this bet is too boring. Passing the warrior assessment is a certainty. Why don't we add another bet? Li Weixin asked. You don't think he can get number 1, do you? Zhang Han laughed out loud. Number 1 is unlikely, but betting on number 2 is quite suspenseful. Li Weixin said, "Number 2? Just bet." I checked his information on the way, and I didn't even go to the martial arts academy. Being able to have a strength of 700 kilograms must be the limit. What's the bet? A high-grade primordial stone. Zhang Han said loudly. Hee, if you win, you can't compete with me. Li Weixin stated a condition. How can I do that? The bet is the bet, and I, Zhang Han, will decide. In the past 2 years, there are not many talents in the army. It is a waste of your broken martial arts hall to keep him. Zhang Han doesn't seem to care about winning or losing at all. Then give me that Cheng Feixiong. Li Weixin said. Cheng Feixiong was number 1 in the first round of assessment. He was 21 years old, and he was also a rare genius. No, or I'll fight too. The two began to quarrel. The passage door opened, and there was a forest outside the passage. Chen Yang strode out and found that an invisible base wall surrounded the entire forest. It's really big. Chen Yang listened to the birds chirping, and the fresh air made him a little intoxicated. Where are we going? Seeing other examiners leaving in groups, Wu Ying was a little impatient. Let's go straight to the depths. I'm afraid there are not many beasts here. Chen Yang looked at the map and decided. I have no objection. We need to kill at least 10 beasts. If we search for them one by one, there will be too little time. So it's better to go to the depths. Sure, shall we agreed. Then go. Ma Jia also agreed. I'm afraid there are too many fierce beasts inside, and I can't even run away. Wu Ying originally wanted to refuse, but seeing that everyone agreed, she couldn't say anything. The environment in the base is like a forest. Due to time constraints, everyone hurriedly set off to go out. The people walked for more than 10 minutes, and they walked very slowly because they had to guard against sneak attacks by fierce beasts. Do you feel something is wrong? Chen Yang has more vitality in his body than others, and his senses are also more sensitive. Although he didn't encounter any ferocious beasts along the way, he always felt that something was following him. Whoosh! A black figure passed in front of everyone. It's a mad wolf, Wu Ying exclaimed. Don't make a sound. Before Chen Yang could stop it, Wu Ying's voice had already attracted the attention of Mad Wolf. Ready to fight. Chen Yang got ready to greet Yi Xiang, and Ma Jia immediately took out their weapons. Wu Ying and Ma Jia both chose long swords, while Yi Xiang chose a long spear. The so-called 1 inch is short and 1 inch is dangerous. Yi Xiang feels that staying away from the beast is the most correct way. But no matter how far away it is, it can't compare with Shi Xiaoyi's weapon. She saw an alloy composite bow hanging on Shi Xiaoyi's shoulder and dozens of sharp arrows in the arrow basket on her back. It's just a crazy wolf. What are you afraid of? Maj asked. You're stupid. The mad wolf is a second-tier ferocious beast. Even after being screened, its attack has a strength of 500 kilograms. If you don't guard against it, you will be gone with one bite. Yi Xiang said nervously. The palm of his hand holding the spear was covered with sweat. Even though he knew that he would face the beast sooner or later, he would inevitably be terrified when he saw that mad wolf as big as a cow. The martial artist assessment is not difficult. As long as one can overcome the fear in one's heart and face the beast bravely, a cultivator will always have more ways to kill the beast. But many practitioners only talk on paper, and once they really face the beast, their legs may become weak. This is also the reason why the country organizes the martial artist assessment. Only those cultivators who dare to face fierce beasts are qualified to be called warriors. Chen Yang carefully observed the surrounding situation. Crazy Wolf looked back at Wu Ying and then disappeared into the forest, but Chen Yang would never think that Crazy Wolf had left. Why are they called crazy wolves? As long as they are their prey, they will never give up. Chen Yang pricked up his ears, surrounded by tall trees, even bushes. He could hear footsteps 10 meters away. If he was right, it must be the mad wolf. Why is there no shadow? Ma Jia asked anxiously. After 2 or 3 minutes of vigilance, the mad wolf did not appear. Ma Jia was a little impatient. Careful! Just when Ma Jia relaxed his vigilance, a black figure rushed towards Ma Jia. Ma Jia raised his sword to block, But the attack that the Mad Wolf had been waiting for a long time would not be so simple. The Mad Wolf rushed forward and pressed Ma Jie under him. Sure shall we panicked for a while. She raised her compound bow and was about to aim when Chen Yang rushed out. Roll! Chen Yang's hard glove smashed over, and the Mad Wolf opened his mouth to bite, but he had no time to react to Chen Yang's fist. Crazy Wolf didn't expect someone to be so fast. As soon as he opened his teeth, his body was thrown away by Chen Yang's punch. The Mad Wolf landed heavily on the tree, and there was a big, bloody hole in its waist, which was caused by the spikes on the glove. Ma Jie, are you okay? Yi Xiang hurried over to help Ma Jie up. Ma Jie's hands trembled for a while, and he came back to his senses when he saw the Mad Wolf lying on the ground. Whoosh! Sure shall we shot an arrow, and the Mad Wolf felt the danger and avoided it, but the injured body dragged down its reaction, and the arrow shot into the Mad Wolf's body. Crazy Wolf was wounded by Chen Yang's punch, and then shot by Sure shall we with an arrow. At this time, he also lost the strength to resist. Ow! The Mad Wolf let out a miserable howl, and was shot again by Sure shall we. Add 10 points. Sure shall we's watch displayed information, and she immediately understood how points are calculated. Ma Jie, are you okay? Seeing that the Mad Wolf was dead, Chen Yang turned around and asked. I am fine. Ma Jie was still in shock. The moment just now, I got 10 points just now, and the calculation method of points is based on the last kill. That is to say, each of us has to personally kill 2 second-tier beasts. Sure shall we talked about the point calculation. Thanks to Chen Yang just now. If it wasn't for him, Ma Jie would have been almost injured. Empress Yi Xiang said in fear. We only killed a beast in 10 minutes, which is too slow. Are you still ready to continue? Seeing that Wu Ying had been silent, Sure shall we asked. Go on, I was negligent just now. Ma Jie said in fear. Wu Ying. Sure shall we poked Wu Ying's arm. Chen Yang is not afraid. What am I afraid of? Wu Ying woke up from her daze. She has been thinking about the strength that Chen Yang exploded just now, which is definitely much stronger than ordinary warriors. Is this guy hiding his strength? It shouldn't be. Wu Ying didn't want to lose face. It can be said that she didn't show anything just now, mainly because she hadn't experienced fighting with ferocious beasts. This does not mean that she is not strong enough. It is not difficult for her to kill a fierce beast by herself with the talent of water element. It's too slow, we have to speed up. Chen Yang looked at the time. At this speed, it was still unknown whether he could kill 10 beasts in 3 hours. Okay, careful. A mound of dirt suddenly protruded from the ground, and Chen Yang felt something in his heart. This must be the fierce beast that has been following them, but he didn't expect it to be hiding underground. It's there too. Yi Xiang pointed to the east and shouted, Oops, I have it here too. Wu Ying clenched her long sword tightly. Seeing the snake-shaped mound of soil moving in front of her, she ruthlessly inserted her long sword into the soil. There was no movement in the soil for a while, and Wu Ying let out a long sigh of relief. She pulled out the long sword, and seeing that the front end of the long sword was clean, she suddenly felt something was wrong. Water shield. Wu Ying didn't have time to turn around. She felt something break out of the ground behind her, and quickly used her special talent. A stream of water appeared out of thin air behind Wu Ying, and they gathered into a round shield to protect Wu Ying behind. What broke out of the ground was a big mouth full of jagged teeth. It was shaped like a centipede, but its body was much rounder than a centipede. Its head is a monster with teeth and claws. If Chen Yang remembers correctly, this kind of thing should be called a worm. The worm's oval and serrated mouth bit the water shield, causing a burst of water splashes. This water shield is very resilient. Although it was dented, it did not break open. Nice one. Chen Yang recorded this use in his mind. He also possesses the water element, so he can also use the water shield as a means of defense in the future. What? Wu Ying turned around and saw the worm and screamed in fright. She was most afraid of this kind of beast like a worm. Now that the worm was only half a meter away from her, Wu Ying almost fainted when she saw the bloody mouth. Go away. Wu Ying controlled the water element to wrap the worm, and then threw it in the direction where Chen Yang was. Chen Yang saw the worm flying towards him. How could he miss this good opportunity? After the worm landed, it would definitely burrow into the soil. While it was in the air, Chen Yang opened the mechanism on the glove. A few alloy bone spurs protruded from the glove. Chen Yang exerted force on his legs, and his claws passed through the worm's body in a fork shape. Add 10 points. Chen Yang smiled slightly. The worm was too easy to kill after it came out of the soil. Yi Xiang was also attacked, but he reacted quickly, and the worm bit the spear. Ma Jie clenched his long sword and aimed at the worm, thinking that he could cut the worm in half like Chen Yang. Unexpectedly, the long sword just fell into the worm meat, and he was almost bitten instead. Why can't I kill him? Ma Jie drew back his long sword to parry, and soon he was out of breath. Ow! Just as the two were in a bitter fight, there was a howl in the distance. It's over. The companion of Mad Wolf is here. Sure Xiaowei noticed a dark shadow flashing in the jungle in the distance, and I don't know how many mad wolves gathered. We need to get rid of these worms quickly. Sure Xiaowei immediately chose a countermeasure. She pressed one hand to the ground, and a frost radiated from her palm. The ground was quickly frozen, and the worms a few meters away wanted a sneak attack. After the ground was frozen, its movements also froze. Kill them quickly, Sure Xiaowei shouted. Her ice talent was fully activated, and this state would not last long. Ma Jie and Yi Xiang rushed to attack the worms under the ground. They swung their weapons, and it took a lot of effort to pierce the worms. Run! The terrain here is too open to fight. Chen Yang shouted to Wu Ying and Sure Xiaowei. Wu Ying hurriedly looked for the direction, looked left and right for a few times, but didn't know where to go. Chen Yang nimbly climbed up the tree, and he had a panoramic view of the situation within 100 meters around. Oops, surrounded. When Chen Yang saw more than a dozen mad wolves gathering, he suddenly felt something was wrong. This is stabbing the wolf's den. Chen Yang himself was able to deal with 5 to 6 wolves, but Sure Xiaowei and the others obviously couldn't deal with the rest of the mad wolves. Climb the tree quickly. Chen Yang commanded a few people, and there was no good location around them. Now, they can only barely escape the siege by climbing up a tree. Wu Ying and the others hurried up the tree, and the underground worms lost their target all of a sudden. After climbing to the tree, several people noticed how many crazy wolves were around. Wu Ying complained about bad luck. Now she can only use the help function of the watch. What to do? There's so many tier-beasts we can't escape. Wu Ying said anxiously. It's okay, they won't climb trees. Although Ma Jie was a little flustered, seeing the mad wolf walking up and down under the tree helplessly, he felt a little relieved. I don't know how long this tree can last. Should we give up? Yi Xiang asked. It's still early. We can still find a way. Chen Yang refused. The luck was too bad this time, and he actually provoked the most vengeful mad wolf. If it was other ferocious beasts, they could kill them no matter what. Crazy wolves are not only obsessed with their prey, they always travel in groups every time they travel. All the crazy wolves showed their figures. They walked back and forth under the tree, and some tried to climb up, but failed one by one. Phew, it's a good thing they don't climb trees. Wu Ying breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, the tree where Wu Ying was located suddenly shook violently. She hugged the trunk tightly and looked down. Those crazy wolves were hitting and biting the trunk. Seeing this, Sure Xiaowei quickly took out the compound bow, but the speed of the mad wolf was so fast that Sure Xiaowei could only hit one of them after shooting 5 or 6 arrows. This is not the way to go. Sure Xiaowei's arrows were getting fewer and fewer, and those injured mad wolves just retreated to the outside and howled and looked at them in the tree. No, if this continues, the tree won't last for a few minutes. Chen Yang thought anxiously. If the tree collapsed, Wu Ying and the others would almost certainly die. Sister Xiaowei, what should we do? Shall we give up? Wu Ying held the watch in horror and was ready to press the red button at any time. Sure Xiaowei didn't know what to do. This was the first time she encountered this situation. There are often assessments, but there is only one life. If it doesn't work, let's quit. Yi Xiang also compounded. Chen Yang, what do you think? Sure Xiaowei asked. Chen Yang didn't answer immediately. It is impossible to give up, and it is not a hopeless situation, Chen Yang began to observe the speed of the mad wolf. Chen Yang himself has a high speed talent. If he escapes, he may not be slower than these crazy wolves. After thinking for dozens of seconds, Chen Yang decided to take the risk. You are ready? I will attract their attention. Once you find the opportunity, you will run. Chen Yang shouted. Don't, you're crazy. Before shall we finish speaking? Chen Yang had already jumped off. Seeing Chen Yang jumping down, Crazy Wolf immediately jumped on it. Chen Yang rolled on the spot, and before he had time to fight back, he got up and ran away. Come after me. Don't forget to taunt before running away. The mad wolves couldn't bear this kind of temptation. They caught up with more than half of them immediately, and only 5 mad wolves were left guarding under the tree. Ours is going to help him. Shall we quickly got down from the tree, and she no longer hesitated, and the ice rushed towards the mad wolf like a water spray gun. Hey, wait. Yi Ziyang saw that shall we was going down the tree, but he didn't care about anything, grabbed a spear and stabbed a mad wolf from top to bottom. Oh, this is too impulsive. Ma Jie jumped down, but Wu Ying hesitated for a while. Water arrow. Wu Ying summoned a 1-meter-long arrow and shot it at the mad wolf in front of shall we, and she finally chose to join the battle. 2 of the remaining 5 crazy wolves were injured by arrows, which made the pressure on the few people much less. The other side, Chen Yang was running quickly through the forest, and there were 10 figures chasing him behind him. Once stopped, he would be torn to pieces by the claws behind him. Chen Yang was already running with all his strength. At this time, his speed had reached 40 m per second, double the speed of the first round of assessment tests. There's a cave ahead. Chen Yang finally found a suitable position for counterattack. Facing the 10 mad wolves, Chen Yang was not afraid. He just needs a situation in which he fights less, rather than the opponent rushing towards him without even a chance to resist. After rushing into the cave, Chen Yang immediately turned around, and the mad wolf behind him was only 20 meters away. Vital Chi Fist. Chen Yang exerted his strength quickly, and the spike on the glove was inserted into the head of the front mad wolf fiercely. A force of 1,000 kilograms hit the mad wolf on the head and killed him in one blow. The corpse knocked down several mad wolves behind it with inertia. Chen Yang took advantage of this gap to attack quickly and saw 2 left and right punches, which wounded 2 mad wolves again. Crazy Wolf realized that this cultivator was a ruthless person, and the 500-kilogram pounce force was nothing in front of Chen Yang. The blood sprinkled on the black combat uniform did not leave a single trace. Seeing that his goal had been achieved, Chen Yang took a few steps back. 20 points. Chen Yang glanced at his watch. Although he was embarrassed, he had already completed the assessment task. 2 are injured, and 7 are about to move. Taking advantage of this cave, we must not let them go. These crazy wolves are already a series of points in Chen Yang's eyes. This time, he is confident to compete for number 1. The mad wolves had to attack Chen Yang head-on if they wanted to bite Chen Yang, but the cave was too small, and at most 3 mad wolves could enter at the same time. Now Chen Yang can produce 8 kilograms of strength with a single punch. If he uses combat skills, he can blast the mad wolf's head with a single punch. Crazy wolves obviously didn't realize the seriousness of the problem. In their eyes, even if it consumes energy, it can kill this prey. Because in their genes, they always fight in this way when facing a slightly more powerful enemy. The 2 injured mad wolves withdrew, and the remaining 7 mad wolves blocked the cave, leaving no room for Chen Yang to escape. It's a pity that Chen Yang didn't intend to run away. Seeing that the mad wolf wanted to fight him to death, Chen Yang's mouth had already raised a smile. Flame. Chen Yang finally used the fire element talent that he copied not long ago, and the entire entrance of the cave was instantly enveloped in flames. The mad wolf roared in pain, and the flame instantly ignited the mad wolf's hair. Due to the narrowness of the cave, several mad wolves tried to run backwards indiscriminately, but bumped into the mountain wall instead. Chen Yang was waiting for this opportunity. He took out the heavy blade on his back, and the flames enchanted all the blades. Death to me. With all his strength, Chen Yang slashed at the crazy wolf with a heavy blade weighing more than 100 kilograms. In addition, In conjunction with the burning of the flames, Chen Yang killed a mad wolf with 2 slashes. More mad wolves fled outside the cave, and they rolled on the ground, trying to extinguish the flames on their bodies. How could Chen Yang let go of such a good opportunity? Raised the heavy blade, opened it at full speed, and cut a mad wolf in half with 1 stroke, separating the head from the body. Frozen, seeing the other injured mad wolves trying to escape, Chen Yang threw out a few blasts of cold air and froze the limbs of the mad wolves. How could the injured mad wolf be Chen Yang's opponent? The flaming heavy blade waved a few brilliant sparks around the mad wolf, and 2 mad wolves fell to the ground again. Extinguished the flame on the alloy heavy blade, and Chen Yang put it on his back again. Now, if he is the hunter, the mad wolf has become the prey. The injured mad wolf was quickly caught up by Chen Yang. Chen Yang tripped the mad wolf with his ice talent, and then he stabbed the mad wolf with his claws. In the end, there were still 2 mad wolves who escaped to nowhere, but Chen Yang didn't care anymore. The use of this special talent made Chen Yang's vitality almost bottomed out. If there were a few more fierce beasts, Chen Yang would have no choice but to run away. Chen Yang leaned against the tree trunk to rest, panting. With a thought, he wanted to see if he could copy the innate ability of the beast. Fierce beast, crazy wolf. Cultivation talent, medium talent. Bloodline talent, low-level bloodline. Special talents, strength, medium, speed, high. Bloodthirsty, medium. High speed, copy. With excitement, Chen Yang copied the corpse. Copy successfully. Is it fused? Can it really be copied? Fusion. Chen Yang chose to accept without hesitation. There was a stabbing pain in the head. Speed talent fusion failed. Failed? Come again. Chen Yang killed a total of 8 mad wolves and copied each mad wolf once. So the speed talent can always be evolved, right? Just doing what he said, Chen Yang kept copying the speed and bloodthirsty talent. And finally, when he copied the 5th mad wolf corpse, the speed talent was successfully integrated, and even the bloodthirsty talent evolved to a high-level talent. Human, Chen Yang. Cultivation talent, top talent. Special talent, copy. Talent can be copied by touching the target. Similar talents can be fused. There's a chance to evolve into a higher talent. Unawakened talents cannot be copied. Speed talent, top level. Strength talent, advanced. Ice talent, advanced. Fire elemental, medium. Water elemental, medium. Bloodlust, advanced. Top speed talent. Chen Yang felt ecstasy in his heart. He has not tested his speed limit, but 50 m per second is definitely no problem. What is this bloodthirsty talent for? Chen Yang was a little puzzled. Crazy Wolf seemed to be able to suddenly increase its strength at certain times. Especially in the cave, it takes 2 swords to kill the mad wolf with the alloy heavy blade. Is this the reason for the bloodthirsty talent? Crazy Wolf can increase the strength of more than 100 kilograms when he activates the bloodthirsty talent, so I don't know if there are any side effects. I'll try to find a beast later. Chen Yang went to the cave, sat down, and began to recover his vitality. With his top cultivation talent, it only took half an hour to replenish his vitality. This kid is not bad. He got 90 points. Li Weixin looked at the data of everyone in front of the monitor and nodded in satisfaction. Not good. An experimental beast ran away. Suddenly, there was a red alert on the map. Li Weixin quickly stood up and asked about the situation. Where did that beast come from? That's the experimental area. Most of the prisoners in the experimental area are second-tier top beasts and third-tier beasts. They must have sensed that someone entered the base and were stimulated, so they ran away. The scene has been brought under control, but the second-tier top-level ferocious beast rushed to the examination area. The staff quickly explained, "Open the channel and send me the location of that beast." Li Weixin walked to the passage door and shouted, No location. That beast has lost contact." The staff were a little panicked, and everyone quickly switched the screen, but they didn't even see the shadow of the beast. What a low-level mistake. Li Weixin quickly told Zhang Han about the situation. In half an hour, Chen Yang almost rested. Suddenly footsteps came from the grass. Chen Yang stood up, and it was number 1 and number 2 who came out of the first round of assessment. "Oh, what a coincidence. I ran into it here." Chung Feixiong's eyes froze when he saw the surrounding scene. Counting the corpses in the cave, there were 5 crazy wolves here. This number 3 actually killed 5 crazy wolves by himself. Chung Feixiong only saw the corpses around the cave, but he didn't know anything further away. Hello, my name is Chung Feixiong. I heard wolves howling here before, so I rushed over here. After all, if someone gets hurt, I can also contribute my strength. Chen Yang thought he only came here in half an hour. It would be a ghost if he came to help. My name is Chen Yang. Chen Yang briefly introduced. Hello, my name is Hanya. You are really powerful. Did you kill all the crazy wolves around here? Hanya was puzzled because she did not find any signs of injury on Chen Yang. Even for them, it was already the limit to deal with 3 mad wolves at the same time, let alone 5. Well, good luck. Chen Yang didn't intend to explain. It would be best to let them not guess the depth of his own strength. I don't know how many points Brother Chen has. I think the champion should be among the 3 of us. Chung Feixiong laughed and said. After meeting Hanya, he asked for Hanya's points, a total of dash points behind him. If these 5 crazy wolves were all killed by Chen Yang, then he would be tied with Chen Yang. To win the championship, he would have to kill at least 2 second-tier beasts. Chen Yang looked at his watch, and he showed a strange expression. I only got 90 points, so I have to make persistent efforts. Hanya frowned when she heard this answer. Of course, she didn't think that Chen Yang had already dealt with the 9 beasts. She had the right to think that Chen Yang was confusing herself. Chung Feixiong thought so too. There is still an hour. How about we compete? Chung Feixiong gave a provocative look. Oh, how do you want to compare? Chen Yang became interested. The points of the 3 of us should be about the same. If you miss number 10 because of 1 point in the end, I'm afraid you won't be reconciled. Why don't we compare each other, and whoever wins will be number 1. Chung Feixiong explained. Chen Yang felt a little funny. He was the number 1 in the first round of assessment, and he was actually compared with his number 3. It seems that this guy is very competitive. How about it, compare? Chung Feixiong asked urgently. Just as Chen Yang was about to answer, a bloody figure came out of the forest. Chen Yang took a closer look, and it turned out to be a bloody mad wolf. What? Chung Feixiong felt a hot gaze. He turned his head and saw that he was confronting the bloody mad wolf. Extremely dangerous. This was the first feeling that the scarlet crazy wolf gave Chung Feixiong. All the pores in his body were open. Just being stared at by it, his body was already unable to move. Chen Yang also felt the coercion of the bloody mad wolf, and he immediately understood that this was definitely not caused by a second-order ferocious beast. Chen Yang quickly checked the information of the scarlet crazy wolf, and a virtual picture appeared in front of him. Fierce beast, bloodthirsty crazy wolf. Cultivation talent, advanced talent. Special talent, strength, high level. Speed, top level. Bloodthirsty, top level. Coercion, low level. Wind element, intermediate level. Chen Yang took a deep breath. Just from its information, it could be seen that this guy is definitely not something they can provoke. This guy is close to the level of a great warrior. Chen Yang thought quickly. This bloodthirsty mad wolf must be traveling faster than 50 m per second. If he wanted to escape, it would definitely be too late. The only way now is to hide in the cave, but if they persist and fail to be rescued, they're almost certain to die. Check the talent. Chen Yang quickly checked the talents of Chung Feixiong and Hanya, hoping to copy a useful talent against the bloodthirsty mad wolf. Human, Chung Feixiong. Cultivation talent, advanced talent. Special talents, strength, medium, toughness, medium. Human, Hanya. Cultivation talent, advanced talent. Special talents, speed, low, plant control, medium. Regardless of whether it is useful or not, Chen Yang decided to copy their special talents first. Come here, Chen Yang shouted. Hanya and Chung Feixiong backed away, slowly with their backs to Chen Yang, but the bloodthirsty mad wolf didn't attack, but let them retreat to the cave, as if they had already eaten them. Chung Feixiong and Hanya took out their weapons and made a defensive posture. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Chen Yang stood between them and copied. Copy succeeded. Human, Chen Yang. Cultivation talent, top talent. Special talent, Copy. Talent can be copied by touching the target. Similar talents can be fused. There's a chance to evolve into a higher talent. Unawakened talents cannot be copied. Speed talent, top level. Strength talent, advanced. Ice talent, advanced. Water elemental, medium. Fire elemental, medium. Bloodlust, advanced. Toughness, medium. Plant control, moderate. Seeing that the talent was successfully copied, Chen Yang began to calculate the chances of winning. Chen Yang currently has a strength of about 1,500 kilograms in a full blow. If Yuan Chi Quan is included, it may reach 1,800 kilograms. Although the speed may exceed the foundation of a great warrior, it is definitely not as good as a bloodthirsty madwolf with wind elements. As for Cheng Feixiong, his strength is at most 1,100 kilograms, including combat skills. If you want to rely on him, you might as well rely on yourself. But Hanya's plant control might be helpful. It might be able to effectively restrict the movement of the bloodthirsty madwolf. I'm afraid this guy is a tier-beast. Damn it, doesn't it mean that tier-beasts won't appear in the assessment? Cheng Feixiong was under a lot of pressure at this time, and the two people beside him did not give him a sense of security. Once the bloody mad wolf attacks, most of them have to escape. Cheng Feixiong didn't know the talent of the bloodthirsty mad wolf at this time. If he knew, he might press the rescue button immediately. Hurry up and ask for help. Hanya's voice trembled a little, and she was a little stronger than ordinary warriors. But facing the coercion of the bloodthirsty mad wolf, she didn't even have the courage to resist. Chen Yang didn't choose to give up the game. Who knows if giving up now is still the first? If this ferocious beast is within the scope of the assessment, giving up directly might result in losing the qualification for the competition. Cheng Feixiong also thinks the same way. When Chen Yang or Hanya chooses to give up first, he will be able to continue the game. Because of this, neither of them pressed the red button on the watch. Ow! A stench came out, and the bloodthirsty mad wolf finally prepared to attack. The three of them leaned against the cave, and Cheng Feixiong took out a big knife across his chest. Seeing the bloodthirsty mad wolf approaching him step by step, he also retreated step by step. The cave wasn't deep in the first place, and within a minute, several people were forced to the innermost part. The advantage of being in the cave is that the bloodthirsty mad wolf can't use its speed advantage to the limit. The disadvantage is that the three of Chen Yang have nowhere to retreat. The bloodthirsty mad wolf opened its mouth, and a transparent wind blade blew towards several people as it howled. Cheng Feixiong resisted with a horizontal knife, only to see a white mark on the knife, and his body flew out immediately. Oh! Cheng Feixiong's back hit the stone wall heavily, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Under the pressure of the bloodthirsty mad wolf, he was seriously injured just by catching a wind blade. You are crazy. When Hanya saw that Chen Yang and Chen Yang hadn't chosen to rescue them, she became ruthless and pressed the red button on the watch herself. At this moment, the second wind blade followed, targeting Hanya. Many vines suddenly appeared in the cave to form a plant wall to block the front. The wind blade just paused and then passed through the plant wall effortlessly. Hanya took this opportunity to roll to the ground, and the wind blade slashed against the mountain wall behind her hair. A knife mark half a meter deep was cut on the stone wall of the cave, and a lot of rubble fell on Hanya's body. The bloodthirsty mad wolf summoned a wind blade again. It seemed to lose patience, and its body rushed towards Chen Yang along with the wind blade. Damn! Chen Yang thought of the best solution in his mind for a moment. Plant control, fireball. The center of the cave suddenly turned into a wall of fire. This was not over yet. Chen Yang hurriedly summoned a water shield to block in front of him, and then set up the alloy heavy blade to prepare for the attack of the bloodthirsty mad wolf. The bloodthirsty mad wolf completely ignored the wall of fire. The flames burned on it, and its eyes turned blood red instead. An invisible wind wall isolated and extinguished the flames on his body. Chen Yang blocked the wind blade, and what greeted him was a giant claw. Not only did the flame not cause serious damage to the bloodthirsty mad wolf, but it aroused its ferocity. The moment his eyes turned blood red, the The bloodthirsty talent in his body filled his entire brain. This claw has a full strength of 2,200 kilograms. Boom! Chen Yang's body was sent flying like a kite with broken strings. If it wasn't for the solid alloy heavy blade, he would have been ripped apart by this claw. However, Chen Yang did not give up. The moment he came into contact with the bloodthirsty madwolf, he made a crazy move. At the risk of serious injury, he touched the bloodthirsty madwolf with his foot and activated his copying talent a second before his body flew out. Copy succeeded. Chen Yang struggled to get up. If it wasn't for the talent of tenacity and the water shield behind him when he was smashed into the air, the bloodthirsty madwolf's claws might have killed him. Chen Yang checked his talent. Human. Chen Yang. Cultivation talent. Top talent. Special talent. Copy. Talent can be copied by touching the target. Similar talents can be fused. There's a chance to evolve into a higher talent. Unawakened talents cannot be copied. Speed talent, top level. Strength talent, advanced. Ice talent, advanced. Is it integrated with speed talent? Is it integrated with speed talent? Yes. There was pain in Chen Yang's brain. This time it was much stronger than before. Successful fusion. Human, Chen Yang. Cultivation talent, top talent. Special talent. Copy, talent can be copied by touching the target. Similar talents can be fused. There's a chance to evolve into a higher talent. Unawakened talents cannot be copied. Speed talent, low-level comprehension. There is a chance to comprehend the speed force. Strength talent, advanced. Ice talent, advanced. Water elemental, medium. Fire elemental, medium. Bloodthirsty, top. Toughness, medium. Plant control, moderate. Coercion, low level. Wind elemental, intermediate. Has the top talent evolved? Chen Yang thought that his top talent was over, but he didn't expect it to evolve into a low-level comprehension. Before he had time to experience the speed of evolution, the bloodthirsty mad wolf rushed up again, but the target became Hanya, who fell on the ground. If Hanya was bitten by a bloodthirsty mad wolf, she would definitely be bloody. Even the wind blade couldn't stop it before, let alone the bloodthirsty mad wolf who had entered a bloodthirsty state. Bloodthirsty, the blood dripping from Chen Yang's forehead, made his vision a little blurred, and his heart seemed to be affected by the bloodthirsty talent. The top bloodthirsty talent made his eyes turn blood red. Coercion. A powerful aura burst out from Chen Yang's body, and the coercion of the bloodthirsty madwolf was melted into one piece by this aura. Eat my knife. Chen Yang felt that his body was full of strength, and the vitality in his body gathered in his arms as if he didn't need money. He raised his hands, and under the blessing of the wind element, he rushed in front of the bloodthirsty madwolf in an instant. The bloodthirsty madwolf felt the crisis and wanted to avoid it, but Chen Yang's speed was too fast, and the heavy blade slashed on his neck. All the strength was used for this knife, and it got stuck in the neck. The bloodthirsty mad wolf struggled frantically. It turned back and bit. Chen Yang had no choice but to let go of the heavy blade. If he ran away at this time, the bloodthirsty mad wolf should have been unable to catch up with Chen Yang. But the bloodthirsty talent made Chen Yang fall into the bloody world. He raised his fist and slammed the bloodthirsty mad wolf on the back. One wolf and one were caught in a life-and-death battle, and the vitality in Chen Yang's body was running out. If it wasn't for the breakthrough of speed talent and the help of the wind element, Chen Yang wouldn't even have the chance to seriously injure the bloodthirsty mad wolf. The spikes on the glove pierced into the bloodthirsty mad wolf's body again and again, and the cave floor turned into a pool of blood. The bloodthirsty mad wolf bit Chen Yang's arm with its foul-smelling mouth, and Chen Yang was in pain. With a roar, he opened the glove mechanism with his backhand and thrust the alloy bone spur into the bloodthirsty mad wolf's throat. Chen Yang no longer had the energy to defend. This claw was his deadliest blow. His left hand was bitten through a few big holes. Fortunately, he had a battle suit to protect him from a little damage. Otherwise, Chen Yang would lose an arm. The bloodthirsty mad wolf was at the end of its strength, finally opened its mouth, and fell unwillingly into a pool of blood. Chen Yang pulled out the alloy bone spur and his whole body collapsed as if lying on the ground. "Hold on. I'm here." After a long roar, Li Weixian finally arrived. It seemed that Hanya and Cheng Feixiong had waited for a century. But in fact, the whole process from the bloodthirsty mad wolf seriously injured Cheng Feixiong to being pierced in the head by Chen Yang took only 1 minute. Li Weixian was surprised when he saw the two fell to the ground, but Hanya looked a little bit embarrassed. "You killed the bloodthirsty mad wolf?" Li Weixian asked in disbelief. "Old Li, it's not too late." Zhang Han came later, saw the bloodthirsty mad wolf lying on the ground, and thought it was Li Weixian who killed it. "He saved us." Hanya pointed at Chen Yang with an indescribable expression. Even Cheng Feixiong could only catch the blow of a bloodthirsty mad wolf, but this man, he actually had the courage to face it. Hanya originally thought that she was bound to die, but that black figure stepped forward to save her when she was in despair. Hanya saw the final fight clearly. The kind of blood and flesh flying all over the place made her completely forget about the support. "Just kidding." Li Weixian looked at Chen Yang, who was still breathing, and fell into self-doubt. "What's the situation?" Zhang Han asked without knowing why. "This kid killed the bloodthirsty mad wolf. I just came like this." Li Weixian explained. "What? This kid?" Zhang Han seemed to have heard the most incredible thing. "Can you take me to the hospital first?" Chen Yang smiled wryly. Yes, send it to treatment immediately." Li Weixian was startled. How could he forget such an important thing? By the way, this assessment is not considered a disqualification now, right? It doesn't count. You all passed the test this time. Li Weixian carried Chen Yang on his back, and he glanced at Chen Yang's hanging arm. The score was 190. I don't know where Chen Yang went. In the woods, Shi Xiaowei and the others managed to deal with the remaining mad wolves. Following the escape route of Chen Yang, they searched for -minutes without seeing any figure. Maybe he's already run away. You can see that there is no sign of a fierce beast passing by. Wu Ying pointed to the surrounding grass and analyzed. "You finally have some brains." Wu Ying's words, which Shi Xiaowei reluctantly approved, should have accidentally deviated from the line in the middle. "Forget it. It's useless for us to worry. Since he dared to do that, he must have a way to deal with it." Wu Ying found a reason to comfort her. "While there is still time, let's quickly look for the beast. Maybe we will meet Chen Yang." Yixiang thought for a while and said, "Okay, let's go over there." Shi Xiaowei pointed in a direction and said. Everyone continued to search for the beast, but they didn't know that Chen Yang had already been sent for treatment. Base operating room. Chen Yang was lying on the operating table, receiving disinfection and sewing by the doctor. Fortunately, only the chest and left arm were injured, and the rest was just out of strength. Half an hour later, Chen Yang walked out of the operating room. Outside the operating room, Li Weixian and Zhang Han had been waiting outside the door. Seeing that Chen Yang was fine, the two heaved a sigh of relief. "Chen Yang, eat this. This is an apology for the mistake in this assessment. It can quickly repair your wounds and temper your physique." Li Weixian handed Chen Yang a tube of red potion. "What is this?" Chen Yang said in a breathless voice. "Gene potion. This is a good thing we have been talking about for a long time. Drink it quickly," Zhang Han urged. "Gene potion." Chen Yang was excited. It was such a good thing. This is not an ordinary genetic potion, but an improved version, specially prepared for practitioners who need to hit the big fighters. Chen Yang swallowed the gene potion in one gulp. He felt as if his body was on fire, so he quickly sat down on the spot and started to run the Yuan Qi Ju. The gene potion continuously repairs the meridians, and many impurities in the body are also discharged. Chen Yang felt that his strength had broken through again, and even the wound was mostly healed. An hour had passed by the time Chen Yang opened his eyes. At this time, the assessment was over, but Li Weixian and Zhang Han were still beside him. "It stinks, go take a shower." Li Weixian pinched his nose and said. Only then did Chen Yang realize that not only was his body covered with the blood of a bloodthirsty mad wolf, but his skin was also covered with impurities left after his body was quenched just now. "Thank you, Instructor Li, and thank you, Examiner Zhang. I'm going to take a shower right now." Chen Yang thanked. Seeing Chen Yang leave, Zhang Han looked at Li Weixin with displeasure. You have done all the good things, how can I beat you? That's just because you're slow. Li Weixin laughed. I don't care. If he chooses the martial arts hall later, I won't give the bet. Zhang Han said foolishly. Let's go back and talk about it. This kind of talent may not be something we can keep. Li Weixin laughed. After taking a bath, Chen Yang felt refreshed. Someone outside prepared a casual outfit for him. Chen Yang picked it up and put on. It fits pretty well. Chen Yang looked in the mirror. At the age of 19, he is already 1.7 meters 5. Although his face looks young, he has an indescribable determination. The wound on the hand has already healed. Apart from some pain, it should be almost healed in another week. A small car outside the base was waiting outside. When the soldiers outside the small car saw Chen Yang coming out, they immediately beckoned to pick him up. Chen Yang was a little flattered. When had he experienced this kind of service, there were actually soldiers from the army picking him up. When I came to the warrior building, there was already a sea of people outside. On the afternoon of each assessment day, many people would gather outside the warrior building. Some of them are family members who participated in the assessment of martial arts, and some are watching the fun. In addition, there are people of great and small influence, absorbing geniuses here. A large stage was set up at the entrance of the warrior building, and the red background and carpet showed a very festive sense of ceremony. Welcome everyone's enthusiasm. After a day of assessment, I now announce that the warrior assessment is officially over. After Zhang Han said a lot of encouraging words, he finally came to the highlight that everyone was looking forward to. Now I will announce the list of assessment results. Those who pass the assessment will go to the stage on the right to receive the martial artist certification issued by the state. Number 20, Lu Shi. Chen Yang stood quietly behind the stage. Although he didn't know if Cheng Feixiong and Han got points behind him, it was impossible for him to surpass him. Chen Yang is only curious about the top 3. The second can choose a book of intermediate combat skills. This reward alone is worth several million. If you choose a special combat skill, the price can even approach tens of millions. Who will be the second and third? Seeing Hanya and Cheng Feixiong's expressionless faces, Chen Yang couldn't guess for a while. Hey, Chen Yang, we thought you were dead. Wu Ying patted Chen Yang's shoulder fiercely from behind, and Chen Yang's expression changed due to the pain. What's wrong? Are you hurt? Seeing Chen Yang frowning and grinning, Sure Shall We hurriedly asked. Ah, sorry, I didn't know you were hurt. Wu Ying hurriedly apologized. She was just a little annoyed at Chen Yang standing here without saying a word. She didn't seem to care how worried they were. Chen Yang, are you okay? Yi Ziang and Ma Jie squeezed forward and asked. It's okay, just a few little mad wolves want to surround me, but the big one is quite scary. Chen Yang laughed. What's big? Wu Ying was puzzled. How many points do you have? Sure Shall We asked curiously. It's not much, more than 100. More than 100? Wu Ying was the first to not believe it. It doesn't matter if you don't get points, it's wrong to lie. For the sake of saving us, I can give you points. What are you talking about? The results are all out, and the points cannot be given away. Sure Shall We said unhappily. Number 6, Yi Ziang and Ma Jie tied for 6th with 32 points. We're going up first. Yi Ziang and Ma Jie rushed to the front of the stage. Number 5, Wu Ying with 34 points. Yeah, I'm number 5. Wu Ying jumped up excitedly. After jumping down from the tree, Wu Ying performed really well. Her water shield rescued her teammates several times, and finally she was no longer the little girl who was holding back. Why haven't you come yet? You won't be the first. Sure Shall We asked curiously. Probably. Chen Yang nodded lightly on the surface, but his heart was already roaring. Number 1, 500 million. There is also an advanced combat technique book. He is about to develop it. Number 4, Sure Shall We, with 42 points. I'm going up first, waiting for you up there. Sure Shall We smiled at Chen Yang. It is good. Chen Yang nodded. It seems that the only ones left are Hanya and Cheng Feixiong. Number 3, Hanya with 50 points. Goddess, goddess. A group of boys in the audience shouted crazily. Hanya was already pure and beautiful, and she won the top 3 in the assessment, so she gained many fans in a short time. Hanya stepped forward, and the moment she took the stage, she turned her head and looked at Chen Yang with inexplicable emotions. Number 2, Chen Yang with 62 points. There was another round of cheers from the audience. Chen Yang had mixed feelings in his heart, recalling that bloody mad wolf. He couldn't even catch a wind blade. How did Chen Yang defeat such a terrifying beast? In fact, Chen Yang is not to blame. The coercion of the bloodthirsty mad wolf made Chen Yang unable to exert his limit. If Chen Yang hadn't taken the risk of copying the talent of the bloodthirsty mad wolf, he might already be in heaven at this time, and there would be no chance to fight back. Why didn't you come at Chen Yang? He won't fail the assessment, right? Yi Ziyang said strangely. Isn't it obvious? He is number 1. Sure, Xiao Wei said excitedly. How could he be number 1? Wu Ying pursed her lips. Although she said so, Wu Ying began to look forward to it in her heart. Even Chen Yang was only ranked 2nd. Isn't it obvious that number 1? From being indifferent to Chen Yang at the first meeting, to being shocked in the first round of assessment, to experiencing the siege of mad wolves together and taking the leap. The image of the boy became clearer in her mind, and a strange emotion arose in her heart. Then announced the number 1 of our assessment. Before announcing the number 1, I want to share the experience of this assessment with everyone. Zhang Han didn't report his name right away and said something off topic. Due to the researchers' mistakes, a 2nd-tier top beast ran out of the experimental area halfway through the assessment. The strength of this beast is no less than that of a 3rd-tier elementary beast. Hearing this sentence, there was an uproar in the audience. There is a huge gap between the 3rd-tier elementary beasts and the 2nd-tier elementary beasts. According to the division of warriors, the 2nd-tier elementary beasts only have 500 kilograms of strength, while the 3rd tier has a full 2,000 kilograms. The difference is 4 times. Quadruple is not as simple as 1 plus 1. The 3rd-level primary beast only needs 1 basic attack to deal with the 2nd-level primary. If a 3rd-level ferocious beast enters among the 2nd-rank primary ferocious beasts, the scene can be imagined, just like a wolf entering a herd of sheep. At that time, we went in and searched immediately, but the assessment site was too large, and we didn't find the bloodthirsty mad wolf for a while, until someone sent a distress signal. Could it be number 1? The people in the audience guessed. He actually survived in front of a bloodthirsty mad wolf that is equivalent to a tier-ferocious beast. No wonder he is ranked 1st. Everyone talked about it and felt that this number 1 was true. When we rushed over, there were bloodstains all over the ground. We all thought we were late, but we didn't expect to see Chen Yang and Hanya. Except Chen Yang was seriously injured. Hanya was almost unharmed. Zhang Han seemed to want to show off, so he paused. Chen Yang and Hanya are also there. Why aren't they number 1? People are puzzled. Are you curious? Chen Yang and Hanya both survived. Why are they not number 1? Because when we arrived, the bloodthirsty mad wolf was already dead, and the one who killed it was our number 1 in this martial artist assessment. The following invites our number 1 warrior, Chen Yang. Points 190. The audience was silent at first, and then cheers that were more intense than before erupted. The score is 190, which means that within 3 hours, an examiner who is not a warrior killed 19 2nd-tier beasts. This is simply incredible. All of a sudden, the masters of all major forces received a call at this moment, and this call was about Chen Yang. Chen Yang walked onto the stage in casual clothes. Looking at the dark crowd and the fanatical gaze in their eyes, Chen Yang felt the joy of warriors. Can he tell us how he did it? A group of girls in front of the stage asked. Zhang Han was also very curious about this question, because Chen Yang's watch was damaged during the battle, and no one in the entire base knew how he killed the bloodthirsty mad wolf. Chen Yang, everyone wants to know how you killed that 2nd-tier top beast. Would you like to tell everyone the story? Zhang Han handed the microphone to Chen Yang. Actually, I just made a breakthrough in the battle and won by luck. Chen Yang said so. I'm curious how much power you can exert with a full-blown owl. Zhang Han joked. Test once. Yes, let him test it once. Zhang Han's joke aroused everyone's curiosity. In the first round of testing, Chen Yang only hit 701 kilograms. Everyone wanted to know what level Chen Yang had reached now. Since everyone is so curious, then I will try. Chen Yang agreed. A few minutes later, the testing equipment was brought onto the stage, and Chen Yang stood in front of the testing equipment. The gene potion absorbed before has greatly improved Chen Yang's physique, and Chen Yang feels that he has entered the next stage. Yuan, Qi, Fist. The strength and speed talents are all applied to the right arm, and this is not over yet. Chen Yang also exerted the wind element to the extreme, and he felt that the energy gathered in his right arm was about to explode. Except for the bloodthirsty talent, all available boosts have been used. With the addition of various talents and combat skills, this punch hit the tester like lightning with a burst of air. The numbers on the tester kept jumping, quickly exceeding 1,500 and going straight to 2,000. 2,000, 2,100, 2,200, 2,300. Under the astonished eyes of everyone, the number finally stopped at 2,436. Are you dreaming? Wooing, pinch your face. It hurt a lot. Cheng Feixiong also opened his mouth wide. He thought that there was a gap between himself and Chen Yang. Now it seems that there is no gap, and it is separated by a natural moat. There is a strange light in Xiaoyi's eyes. Every time, this boy could bring everyone different surprises. Zhang Han and Li Weixin saw that Chen Yang didn't use all his strength in the first round of assessment and didn't even show his combat skills. No wonder there was such a big difference in the statistics. Did this kid hide his strength when he was in the martial arts hall? Li Weixin was puzzled. How could a person increase his strength from 400 kilograms to 2,400 within a month? In the warrior building, a beautiful young woman looked at the boy on the stage through the window with a slight smile. Interesting, Yinqing actually produced such a genius. On the other side, Lin Bing recognized the boy on the stage, and her face blushed with excitement because she was the one who handed out this assessment admission card. Seeing the data on the tester, Zhang Han knew that something was wrong. Originally, I just wanted to satisfy my curiosity, but this result, it is very likely that the superiors will come to snatch people. Now his plan to recruit Chen Yang into his team might come to naught. The procedure still has to go on, and the ordinary martial artist certification almost turned into a great warrior certification. Chen Yang excitedly accepted the martial artist certification that Zhang Han handed him. Since he didn't test Chen Yang's speed, Zhang Han couldn't issue him a great martial artist certification. But at any time, as long as he wants to test, he can upgrade to a great warrior at any time. Zhang Han felt that Chen Yang was a bit strange, especially when he took over the martial artist certification. Chen Yang's attention didn't seem to be on the martial artist certification, but his own hands? Zhang Han felt right. Chen Yang finally copied Zhang Han's talent the moment he came into contact with the martial artist certification. Copy succeeded. Human, Chen Yang. Cultivation talent, top talent. Special talent, copy. Talent can be copied by touching the target. Similar talents can be fused. There is a chance to evolve into a higher talent. Unawakened talents cannot be copied. Speed talent, low-level comprehension. There is a chance to comprehend the speed force. Strength talent, advanced. Ice talent, advanced. Water elemental, medium. Fire elemental, medium. Bloodthirsty, top. Toughness, medium. Plant control, moderate. Coercion, low. Wind elemental, medium. Mindfulness, medium. Get it? Chen Yang happily played with the martial artist certification. Martial artist certification is a golden card, somewhat similar to an entrance examination card. The information of each warrior card is networked nationwide and can be found no matter where it is. Another advantage of the warrior card is that it has the function of a bank card. The number 1 money reward from this assessment has been transferred to the warrior card. 500 million. What should I buy for my sister? Chen Yang thought about it, and he decided to move his family in first. After a long time, everyone walked off the stage. Zhang Han and Li Weixin led them into the warrior building to pick out the spoils. Come with me. Your reward is advanced combat skills, not on the same floor as them. Li Weixin took Zhang Han to the top floor of the warrior building. The first floor of the warrior building is the reception hall, and the second to fifth floors are the places to buy and sell items. The office area is above the fifth floor, and the number 18 floor on the top floor is the place where combat skills are stored. You pick slowly, and I won't go in. There's a display screen in front of each combat skill book, which is a complete introduction of the combat skill. You can think about it slowly. I suggest you pick a little longer. Now outsiders there are many more waiting for you to go out. Li Weixin stood in front of the gate and said in distress. Originally, he had seized the opportunity, but who knew that Zhang Han, a fool, actually asked Chen Yang to test his strength in front of everyone. Now, everyone knows that Chen Yang is an extremely rare genius. Would the Joint Martial Arts Hall not be able to accommodate him? Li Weixin thought wildly. Chen Yang walked into the gate. There was a reception desk inside the gate, and a middle-aged woman was sitting inside. Number 1 in the martial artist assessment. Seeing someone coming in, the middle-aged woman raised her head and glanced at Chen Yang. This glance made Chen Yang feel undressed. Every part of him seemed to have no secrets in front of this woman. Too horrible. Chen Yang was shocked. He didn't even feel this way when facing a martial artist. Could it be that this woman is a great martial artist? Check talent. Human, Zhou Chu. Cultivation talent, top talent. Special talents, strength advanced, speed advanced, clairvoyance advanced, teleportation advanced. Perspective. Chen Yang immediately knew that it was not an illusion just now, but that he was really seen. Advanced combat skills are in it. Choose the combat skills you want, and just swipe your warrior cards. After swiping, give it to me, and I will copy a layer of combat skill books for you. The middle-aged woman pointed to the glass door behind her and said, Okay. Chen Yang hurried in, but all he could think about was how to copy this talent into his hands. Inside the glass wall, there are several rows of cylinders like a jewelry store exhibition. There is a glass book on each cylindrical platform, which is connected to the screen. Click on it to see the name of the combat skill and its detailed introduction. Bin Lei Ju. The first book of combat skills Chen Yang clicked on was Advanced Special Combat Skills, but he didn't have the talent for the element of thunder, so it was useless to get this book of combat skills. The Blazing Sun. Chen Yang opened the detailed introduction. This is a special combat skill of the fire element, which can be cultivated into a body of flames. The most peculiar thing is that if you have the dual elements of ice and fire, you can also cultivate the double heaven of ice and fire, which is at least 3 times as powerful as the ordinary fire element. There are so many special combat skills here. Chen Yang clicked on another book of combat skills excitedly. Clear Water Prison. Psycho Storm. Ice Field. Chen Yang clicked on the field of ice. This is a combat technique combined with body tempering skills. By cultivating the power of ice, one can finally control a small area. In the field, his own strength will be greatly improved. Otherwise, the enemy will be affected by the ice field and become stiff. Chen Yang felt that this combat skill was quite suitable for him. His talent for ice had reached an advanced level. If he practiced this combat skill, he would definitely get twice the result with half the effort. It's just that if you want to completely control the ice field, you must at least become a great martial artist. Only the body of a great martial artist has the vitality to display a domain. Chen Yang decided to keep reading. It must take a long time to become a great martial artist. If there is no other combat skill that is more suitable for him, it will not be too late for him to choose this book again. Original Force Control. Comprehend the higher level and more essence of vitality, and use the vitality of heaven and earth. If you cultivate to the upper level, you can control the wind and clouds, and all the vitality in the space can be used as a means of attack. Chen Yang looked at this book of combat skills. Although it was not a special combat skill, every sentence introduced made this book of combat skills extraordinary. Combat skills are actually different ways to use vitality and special talents to exert stronger effects. Each combat skill operates in a different way, and the resulting power is also different. This advanced combat technique is also like a combination of body tempering skills and the use of Yuanli, like Yuanqi Ju and Yuanqi Fist, which should be integrated into one body, but were learned separately. Chen Yang is caught in a dilemma. Every combat skill here is worth tens of millions. He really doesn't know how to choose. There are too many special combat skills. If I choose a special combat skill, I can only practice one. I don't know when I can get the second one. Why don't I choose this elemental force control first, and then learn other combat skills when I have the opportunity? After thinking for a long time, Chen Yang decided to choose Yuanli to control. He felt that the cultivation method controlled by Yuanli might be more suitable for him. When he had the opportunity in the future, it would not be too late to get this ice domain. Chen Yang no longer hesitated, took out the warrior card, inserted it into a card slot, and swiped it. Have you chosen? Zhou Chu was a little surprised to see that Chen Yang came out only an hour after entering. Generally, warriors who come here for the first time to choose combat skills can't wait to stay there for a day, and he is the first one who is as fast as Chen Yang. I just saw one that suits me, so I don't worry about it. Chen Yang laughed. He was thinking about touching her finger while she was not paying attention when he handed Zhou Chu the martial artist card later. Give me the warrior card, Zhou Chu said. Chen Yang was overjoyed and quickly took out his warrior card. But an embarrassing thing happened. Zhou Chu didn't reach out, which made Chen Yang's thoughts shattered. Chen Yang put the warrior card on the counter, and Zhou Chu quickly took the warrior card away and inserted it into the computer. Original force control? You didn't choose a special talent. Didn't you awaken the special talent? Zhou Chu looked at Chen Yang suspiciously. I just think this suits me better. Chen Yang replied. There was a hint of appreciation in Zhou Chu's eyes. Your choice is good. Many warriors want to choose a book of special combat skills after passing the assessment. They don't know that although special combat skills are good, they're not all suitable for warriors to learn. Combat skills are divided into elementary combat skills, intermediate combat skills, advanced combat skills, and top-level combat skills. Most of these advanced combat skills are prepared for martial artists. Even if they are martial artists, they may not be able to display the full power of the combat skills. Many of them require a great martial artist or even a grandmaster to be able to control them flexibly. If you're a martial artist, not only is the speed slow, but the vitality in the body cannot withstand consumption. Yuan Shi is the foundation of a strong body and the foundation of all combat skills. The Yuanli control you have chosen is a more advanced vitality art. There is a vitality art. As a foreshadowing, you will be able to get started soon. While copying the exercises controlled by Yuanli, Zhou Chu explained to Chen Yang. There is also this kind of saying. In this way, I made a mistake. Chen Yang was overjoyed and left behind the regret of not choosing the ice domain. And Zhou, have you also practiced Yuanli control? Chen Yang asked curiously. How do you know my surname is Zhou? Zhou Chu asked back. Chen Yang was stunned for a moment. Zhou Chu did not say what his name was. He knew the other party's name only because of the query information that came with the system. I listened to Instructor Li and the others. Chen Yang quickly found a reason. Is it? Zhou Chu gave Chen Yang a meaningful look. Chen Yang was flustered for a while. Could there be other abilities in this clairvoyance? Take it back and practice hard. Zhou Chu handed the printed combat skills to Chen Yang. Chen Yang was overjoyed, and taking advantage of this opportunity, Chen Yang straightened his fingers and gently touched Zhou Chu's fingers from under the battle technique book. Copy succeeded. Thank you, Aunt Zhou. Chen Yang picked up the combat technique book and turned to leave. He was afraid that Zhou Chu would discover something through the perspective. This boy, seeing Chen Yang leave, Zhou Chu's eyes showed a strange look. From the first second they met, she was observing the vitality in Chen Yang's body. She had known for a long time that this boy had reached the level of a great warrior at only 19 years old, so she deliberately used her perspective talent to see through everything about Chen Yang. But the talent of bailing, who is usually tried and tested, has no effect on Chen Yang. Apart from seeing that Chen Yang's vitality is much more than that of the warriors, when she observes the natural power in his body, she is in a blur. It shouldn't be. Even the Grandmaster I can see clearly. Why is it so blurry on him? Why'd he lie just now? Did Li Weixin and Zhang Han say bad things about me? Zhou Chu became more and more curious about Chen Yang. Chen Yang got on the elevator. Whether to integrate strength talents. Fusion. Chen Yang chose to merge without saying a word. After a burst of pain, the fusion was successful. Chen Yang checked his talent excitedly.